Oh, the alerts. God, the alerts won't stop. What do we do about this, Tarpy? Then they're
absolutely nothing.
Just let them play?
I think it's great. Yeah.
Are we close to caught up?
Make sure he never gets caught up. And more spinning cats.
Please.
More spinning cats. Yes.
Please.
See, he's asking. He's saying please to the spinning cats.
iCrazy says, DJ, it's been an hour. Has it? Oh my God, it's been 50 minutes. Sorry. That's right, it was 50 minutes. Yikes.
Ask any kid who gets told to go to bed. That's not an hour.
It's 50
That's
minutes.
only 50 minutes.
It's 50 minutes.
Not
This podcast brought to you by Lost in 73, one bit at a time. No, I think they're close to over. And then I'm going to silence them. Still never told you about Beck. Yeah, no, I want that in the podcast. Good evening, everybody. We've been on the air for an hour, and I'm just now starting the show. See, this is what you miss if you're not... Oh, God. Thank you, Ice Wolf. Yeah, you're right, Tarpy. I'm going to have to turn them off now.
That was adorable.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the alerts are going off. Alerts are going off. I got to turn off the alerts. It's podcast time. It's podcast time. It's very.
It's giving you a forehead massage.
Very cute. See. Yes, I'm getting a scalp massage right now. Thank you, Chaos, for your moopsie. Loki, thank you. I think we're getting close. I think we are getting very, very close. All right, there's Jules Verne.
I swear to God, I'm dropping tags. I can't do it. We're morons. We're morons. All of us.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome in to Talking Trek Live. Oh, Jesus. You guys get it out of your system. I'm turning them off in 60 seconds. I'm turning them off. They're going away. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Talking Trek. My name is UltimatDJz. We are Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast. Good evening to you. Welcome in. I am number one. What's up, everybody? Talking Trek server sound off. You guys go ahead and punch it up in chat. Who is hanging out and trying to disrupt everything here tonight?
Positive.
Thank you for your
full of positive
Thank you for your positive energy. Dr. Juby on 61. Thank you. Vic on 33. Tarpy on 30. Strandalorian on 9. Loki on 15. Noon Whistle on 29. Don Zeno on 136.
I personally love the D.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love you guys so much. Shiz on 24. Wilson on 36.
That's messed up.
Taylor on 27. Intimidator on 63. Bender on 51. Lawson on 45. Keymaster on 14. Check on 84. Striker on 49. The list goes on. Good evening. Welcome.
Don't open it, then later I can claim ignorance, right?
Okay. Yeah. There they go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so very much for all of your alerts. They are now disabled. Do not spend any bits because turn them off. They're gone. That's it. They're all gone. Good evening, everybody. My name is UltimatDJz. This is Talking Trek Live, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast. Appreciate you guys very much for being here. Thank you. No, Cruzito, look, you get a podcast. Okay? I turned off the alerts. I turned off the frames. Okay? I turned it on. This is straight up gooey goodness podcast here tonight. We've got a couple of things. We're going to do this quick and dirty style, Tarpy, as it is almost 10 o'clock tonight. We're going to talk about new prototype forbidden tech as if there is a lot to talk about. There's really not. But we're going to tell you what we do know about them. Hey, Alex, thank you. Welcome in as a first-time chatter from EU181. Thank you very much for being here. We've got that to talk about. I had an opportunity to sit in a meeting with Madam Plansonet Beck, and woof. Guys, all I can say is she is back. She is, oh, my God. She was here to kick butt and chew bubble gum, and let me tell you something, Tarpy, she's all out of bubble gum. All right, I'm pretty excited about some of the stuff she brought to the table today. We're going to talk very, very vaguely about some of that, but just very, very excited about some of the initiatives that we as a community have been working on for a very, very long time, got real progress. And so I'm very, very excited about that. Cruzito said Beck has been gone since when? She's been working on some big projects. I mean, you guys, you say Beck's gone, but you guys are the same people that have talked about the fact that Hammy has been making videos, and you miss Beck. All right. Rose says, did she tell me how mad the whale Discord is? I have heard. Yes. Okay. I have heard. What is going on today, Ro? I did hear that there was drama over there today. What's going on over there today? I haven't gotten the scoop today. All right. But I've heard about it. Doss says, can Beck help me finish these hostile grinds? No, they're heroic. All right. The way you finish them is to spend money. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about that. It's a weird thing. It's a very weird thing. Rose says the whales were making her feel like they were mad at her specifically. Why would that wouldn't be? Why would they do that? That has to be a misconception. Nobody would actually do that to a person, would they? That had to have been accidental. Tarpy says, I am not the source of this drama. Really? Rao? That's not real. Were people going after Beck? Oh, my God. I pity them. Oh, damn. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. All right. Yeah. Rao, you're going to have to send me deets. I need the deets. Spill the tea. Let's go, Rao. Spill the tea. I need it.
Oh, my God.
I thrive on gossip. I love it. Hold my beer. That's right. Hold my tea. So anyway, listen. No, I was actually in 2 meetings today where Beck flew in with hurricane force winds and got stuff done. So I love it. But yeah, we can talk a little bit about the events very quickly. We can talk about the events that are coming up this weekend. I've got a little bit of information on that. Hammy shared a little bit. I've got like an ounce more insight into that, but only like a teeny tiny little thing. So we can talk a little bit about that. I've got more insight from Echo regarding the heroic events. I am very, very surprised. Kilfer says I'm exaggerating. What am I exaggerating about? The hurricane force winds? No, dude, you don't know. You don't know, bro. You don't know. All right. There is a few things that are high up on my priority list. All right. And it seems like all those things got checked off today. Like seriously, in like an hour and a half. Like just okay. Double check, triple check. So I'm pretty excited about that. We will talk about the prototype technology. All right. So we do have some data on that. As from the show title, you guys might gather, I feel like Scopely's missed the mark here. Jules has some data prepared for us. He might drop in here in a little bit. But yeah, no, I think the summary conclusion from the community, from at least the Talking Trek scientists, the lab rats, Tarpy, is this is a very lackluster product. All right. I know what they were going with. We talked a little bit about this on the last show. Let me start with this. All right. And Matters, I don't know if you and Putz and Karkin had a chance to talk about this a little bit. I know that we weren't fully prepared for this topic tonight, but one thing that I had mentioned on the last show was the fact that game design did not intend for this to be replacing all previous Forbidden Tech. They intentionally did not make it, because we do complain about this. Cruzito, I'm going to lean on you for this because you've made this same comment before. You hate when Scopely releases content that instantly invalidates months or years of grinding, right? Especially in PvE. You have said before that it is inappropriate for them to come out and launch something that somebody right before them had spent months to grind on, and then all of a sudden it loses efficacy, you know? So I think that is an important player perspective, an important thing to keep in mind when we're looking at these new prototype techs. Cruzito says, yes, I agree. They should be building upon, not replacing. That is where I do, and Matters agrees, okay? Objective minds, okay? Fact-based minds. Matters, very unpopular a lot of times for his opinions, but he's very analytical. Cruzito, same thing, okay? Lost in, same thing. Look, he says unpopular opinion. I like this arc just fine. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm not trying to spin anybody. I just want to present the facts, okay? The thing that they told me they wanted with prototype tech, Matters, was not a replacement. They did not want to invalidate the slipstream drive. They did not want to invalidate the Metreon Cascade. They did not want to invalidate Agamus. What they wanted to do was to create new combinations and new abilities that can be mixed and matched on multiple ships. The one thing that we know about Forbidden technology and Chaos technology is that they only go on one ship at a time. There's one slot. That's it. If you wanted something that the Quantum Slipstream gave you, you could use it on one ship at a time. Okay? You can't have it on two ships. You can only have it on one. All right? So their goal with this was to provide similar abilities as some of the other technologies that we've got, but in new combinations. For example, I go back to the original video. Hammy had specifically mentioned, with one of these new ones, I think, I don't remember which one it was it the Syndicate Bomb? Yeah, increases warp range like the Slipstream drive. Increases ship XP earned like, was it the Harvester or something like that? Increases reputation like Agamus. All right. Increases loot earned like the Mirror and the Tetracyanate, if you wanted to go, down to the uncommons and commons. So you've got these different abilities that come from other technologies, and then they put them together. Now, it's interesting players' reaction to this, even my own, because I say, me personally, I feel like they failed to deliver. I feel like these things are not worth me spending a lot of money, Tarpy. And that is, I think, the position that I'm seeing from a lot of players right now. For example, we're taking a look at the new Recon Locus building. Why are players not spending hundreds and or thousands of dollars on it? Right? Why are they not? Because these abilities exist already. Now, this is very, very interesting that players have traditionally said we don't like new metas, right? Like we don't want a new piece of technology or a new piece of feature replacing previous feature. But then, and I am with you, I am guilty as charged. I'm going to camp with you guys here, community. I feel the same way when I say, well, what's the incentive for me to do this if I've already got it? So I acknowledge Scopely's in a little bit of a tough spot here because we've given feedback one way, but then when they do something like this, it feels like a letdown. You know what I'm saying? It feels a little bit like a letdown for me because I feel like what I've got already does this stuff. Cruzito says, another perspective could be that this goes against what they said a while back where they didn't want a swapping, hence the lack of rods. Not sure how they thought this would work out. Well, I think they're going back on that, Cruzito. We've seen two new sources of rods since that time, all right? And for each of those, they have created a higher cap. There's still the cap, which is dumb. Remove the cap, all right? But they keep raising the cap. Okay, not the cap from the daily claim, but the new sources have higher caps. I agree, Broken Wolf. Get rid of the stinking cap. Okay. That being said, they have increased the sourcing of those rods to the point where I think they're trying to send the message that we want you guys to play with this a little bit more. Then they come out this month, Cruzito, and say, hey, listen, it's our intent to provide new combinations. It's our intent to provide a duplicate ability that is similar to one that you've had in the past, not better than or worse than, or that's arguable. All right, but similar to what you've had so that we can provide you different combinations. Lawson says, are we just mad to be mad? I think a lot of players are. If I asked 10 players on official Discord to tell me why they're angry, 9 of them probably could not tell me why. Okay, in all fairness. Burton says, I don't know that the anger is because we don't like that they're reusing technology. It's because the combinations feel lackluster and not useful next to how much effort is needed to unlock and level the tech. Boom, hit the nail on the head for me, Burton. You hit the nail on the head for me. Allow me to present you some data. This right here. Now, Steven Zarin is an honorary guest in our studio here tonight. He would say, DJ, it's only month 1. Tarpy, how many times have I quoted our friend Steven Zarin? I mean, literally, every freaking arc. I quote him every arc.
Yep.
Because he always said it. It's only month 1. It's so early. It's only month 1. You don't know what the sourcing is going to look like in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 month, 1 year. You don't know. You don't know what it's going to look like. And it could get bonkers. Maybe it gets great. To Steven Zarin, I used to always say, all right, his argument was, it's only month 1, it'll get better. I agree with that. My argument to that has always been, why launch it when it looks like crap? Right? Why launch it when it looks like... Why launch it, Tarpy, when the preliminary math says, hey, don't worry, community. In 1,538 days, you can max your first epic prototype technology. Good job, guys. Listen, it's only going to take... Yeah, that's a good one. 1,500 days. That's all. That's not a big deal, guys. To max one prototype tech, it's going to take 5 years. Hey, great. That was always my argument, Steven Zarin, is why launch something that looks so bad? I get it that it's going to get better. I get it that you've got more plans. Why launch this stuff like this? Now, I could also argue, hey, we've played this game for 6, 7 years. We know the pattern. And yes, we do. We do know the pattern. We recognize the pattern. That's right, check. Why? They're going to sell the solution later. We know the pattern. So, why? We know your pattern. Change it up. Keep us on our toes. This is just unacceptable. I've said it every time when the Vengeance comes out, it's got a 10-year loop. It's unacceptable. It's why things like the Recon Locus building come out, and we're actually a little bit praiseworthy on that. 260 days to max the building. That's good. That's appropriate. From day one, that looks good. Like, that is reasonable. That's a real thing. We've got to find a better balance on this, Scopely, because, again, what you're looking at in the chat right now, what you're looking at from players like Roselius is no interest, no pressure, because I know that they're going to sell something later. So I don't care now. You guys are getting predictable. Right? This is a problem. You're going to have to get creative. Okay? Shiz says, how about we flip the script? Give us a solution and then drive it with value. You know, you guys know what I do for a living. I work in the automotive industry. And we've talked a lot about this. We talked about this here just about a month ago when I came back from Dallas, had a great conference. Why, Shiz, should you buy an F-150 truck from me? Between you and me, there's 1,500 Ford dealers, okay? We're all advertising the same trucks on the internet. We're all advertising some crazy deal that you can't get anywhere else. We're all advertising that we're going to beat everybody else's deal guaranteed by $500. Everybody advertises the same crap. So why do you buy from somebody? The value. Ranger says the customer service, the experience, the feeling of being valued, the feeling of caring, the experience that somebody provides to me. Trust, value. All right. How do you build value? Well, first of all, education. Right? Odysseus says, I would not buy an F-150 from you, DJs, because I would never buy Ford. All right? You've got to build value. And we've talked about this, Tarpy. Matters, I'm going to give you and Tarpy a chance to pop in on this here in just a second. We've talked a million times about how good monetization provides something to somebody. It makes you feel like there is something good in it. Let's look at the junker. For example, one of the most popular specialty ships that exist, not only for the convenience factor that it provides, but its capability that it provides, and the refinery that pays. We did examples on that, Jules, in its month of launch and said, listen, after 30 days, I think the value was tier 6 for a G6 player. Once you get this thing to tier 6, it's delivering to you $150 worth of parts every single month. Once you got it to tier 10, it's providing $300 worth of parts every single month. All right? You've got to add value. You've got to build value. And when you start doing that consistently, then you start building trust. You start building a customer base who believes that what you're doing is genuinely trying to build them an exciting and genuinely interesting game. Loston says it did take a little bit of learning to decide it was good. Well, from the ship's capabilities, Loston, I may agree with you there. We always knew what the refinery was going to look like. Jules had charts on it 48 hours after the ARC launched. We knew what the ship was going to do. We knew what that refinery was going to be. Saison puts it perfectly. Whether you're in a gaming industry or the automotive industry, okay? I'm tired of the constant upsell. Make me trust you first. Build some value. Make me feel like you value me. And then it becomes easier. Today I had a customer. I'm going to tell you this story because I was so proud of a new guy. So do you guys remember me saying, also about a month ago, by the way, making changes at our dealership, you guys remember me saying that I was going to hire this concierge, somebody that comes out into the quick lane service, that meets a customer in their vehicle, that greets them politely and happily while they're still in their car, comes out and greets them and checks them in for their appointment and walks around their car and says, hey, would you like us to wash your vehicle today? Or, hey, it looks like your tires are getting thin. Whatever. Just something nice, something important. Provide that customer a cup of coffee. Offer them a pack of crackers. Something that just was one step above the guys down the street. Well, I hired that guy. Today was his first day. Now, I spent half a day just talking with him, training with him about some of the software and how he can, look at what a vehicle. Because, by the way, this guy doesn't know anything about service. He's been a salesman all his life. He's never worked in a service department. First job that I've got for him today. First job. Vehicle goes through quick lane. It comes up. We do the multi-point inspection. It's got the report card. and we measure brakes, all right, in millimeters, but they're categorized: green, yellow, red, right? Green is great. Yellow means, hey, it's something you want to start to think about before too long, and red means you need pretty soon attention, okay? This woman brings in a car today for an oil change for her daughter. And I think her daughter was like 22, 23, just a kid, okay? And the mom gets the oil change done. She gets done. I get the multi-point inspection. The front brakes are green. They're at 6 millimeters, okay? I'm giving you full transparency here. The rear brakes were at a 5, which just happened to cross over to yellow. But, I mean, obviously, 1 millimeter is the difference, all right? Green was 6, yellow was 5, okay? So I told the new guy, I said, hey, listen, I would like for you to go. I said, I seriously doubt she's going to do this today, all right, because she's still got plenty of life on these. I said, but I do want you to plant that seed. I want you to go and empathize and relate and speak to this customer privately in an office, personally, and explain that, hey, we would love to earn your business on these brakes here in a couple of months. The weather's getting ready to turn. She's good now. She doesn't need the brakes today. All right? But I would like for you to try to plant that seed so that we can schedule an appointment with her in a month or two. Okay? He comes back to me in 10 minutes with the customer, and she wanted to schedule an appointment for 2 weeks from now to get those brakes done. I said, that's great. Fantastic. We'll get it done. She said, you know, I know that I don't need them now, but this is my daughter's car, and we're coming into winter, and I don't want to have to worry about when I need to get them changed. I'd rather just get it done now. All right? This woman was told straight up front that she didn't need to buy this today. We just wanted to try to get her thinking about us down the road. I wanted her to have a personal experience, a private conversation, and I wanted to try to earn her business closer to the winter months. We were rewarded today by her saying, hey, thank you for being honest. Thank you for not trying to sell me 10 things that I don't need. All right? And yeah, I would like to go ahead and book this because I really just don't want to have to mess with it later. I don't want to have to think about when I've got to cross that over. All right? That's exactly right, Shiz. There's a difference between trying to convince somebody of something that they may or may not need and then educating them about maybe you can plan for it or understanding why this may eventually become available. All right? Today was that guy's first day. After that conversation, I talked to him about it. I said, how did you actually sell that today? He's like, I didn't. He's like, I didn't sell anything. I was going over her report card, and I just said, hey, listen, we would love to be able to schedule something for you here in a little while. Please think of me. Here's my card. I'll give you $50 off on your brake service if you'll come back and do it, you know, before the end of the year. He's like, that's all I said. Now, granted, maybe this was 1 in a million. Maybe this is the customer that'll buy everything. I don't know. But she felt valued. She felt special because we took time, we were honest, and we explained what the situation was. And then she rewarded us with her business. And by the way, for a lot of you guys, we've talked about this in the past. For a lot of you guys, you've all told me that you would never, never do a brake service with a factory dealership. I mean, it's 3 times the price of O'Reilly's or Advanced Auto. Grouchy Outlaw says the $50 off probably got her. Nah, no chance, man. No, I mean, maybe. All right, but she could have bought those brakes for 1/3 of the price downtown. I like to tell that story. I've told that story 5 times today, and every time I tell that story, I just think about the honesty that occurred during that conversation. The feeling of value and the feeling of personal interaction. Saison says, I'm one of those. I don't want cheap. I'll pay more for customer care. All right? Kaviji says everything is so depersonalized now, and buy now and buy this, and you need this, that just a little bit of customer service goes such a long, long way. I don't know how you feel about it, Matters. But I swear I feel like Scopely needs to open the books, read a business magazine today. I just feel like they're not getting it. Matters is quiet. I guess he disagrees. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, what are they not getting? Like, you just mean like they're wondering why people aren't spending? Because
yeah, let's talk about that.
Man.
Why are players not spending this month? Because they're not. Why is nobody chasing down prototype tech?
Because you have like very few options, and those options are be G5 or less and spend a little bit to be able to engage with like the heroic events and all the other stuff that's in there. And if you're G6, you need to spend an absolute whack ton just to do okay in the events that they've launched.
Well, events are a different story. I know what Echo was going for here. We talked yesterday. I think he's missed the mark a little bit. I appreciate the smaller events. I do. I very much like those. I've played in them every single day. These heroics just seem way heroic. I get the intent. I still go back to what I said on day one. I feel like asking different amounts of spend based on your ops for the same rewards that are not super fantastic. I still think we missed the mark on that one, but that's a different conversation. Those are the heroic events. Somebody asked earlier, I can't believe we've had to grind all these heroic events. First of all, no. If you're trying to grind these heroic events, you're a silly goose. All right. Or you're, as Putz would say, you're ops 45 through 55. Okay. You're ops 45 through 55 if you're grinding the heroic events, because nobody else can really do them. But that being said, they are clearly labeled. They're very clearly labeled. You have to buy. Listen, if you want to complete a heroic, I'm just going to tell you this in case you've missed it. If you want to complete the heroics in an easy way, you spend the necessary number of packs to get the building to your level. Period. Simple. That's it. Or close to.
Yeah.
All right. Doesn't have to be exactly there, but close to. Ginmon says I'm op 60. I don't think it's so bad. What level's your building? Because that'll make a big deal. Did you buy one? But even one pack. If you bought even one pack, then op 60 probably seems pretty reasonable.
Now, DJ, you said level 45 through 55. You misspoke. Level 45 through 60 has an easy street.
Mm.
Well, if you look at the chart that I posted in the circle, bring that up. This actually shows the level of grind required.
Oh, yeah. I saw this today in dev chat. Jules, I know Jules has a sore throat tonight, so I'm not going to ask him to talk a lot. Let's take a look at this, okay? Here's the milestone, the number of hostiles that you got to hit. All right? Depending on your level of spend, depending on what your ops is. Even if you're an ops 60, Putz, if you've spent nothing on it, and by the way, this is assuming you've gotten your building to level 49 by now, or hitting level 49 hostiles, I think is what it was, Jules, right? Hitting level 49 hostiles. You would still need to hit 260 hostiles.
But why
Here's
would
the
I be
thing,
hitting?
You can hit the,
Hold on.
you can hit the
Why would I be
Hold on,
hitting?
Putz.
59s.
Putz.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You can hit the 59s. You're just going to take more decay damage, so you're getting less per hole as you go. So it's maybe a more difficult grind. For instance, I have purchased $100 for an upgrade of the Recon Locus so that I can hit 61 through 66s. However, I can only hit one hostile per hole. So while I still have to hit, I think it was roughly 127 hostiles, that's 127 holes for me. So even 127 hostiles is not that big of a deal if I could take a couple of ships and use the Kirshara. But if I'm doing one hole, even with the new rare prototype Forbidden Tech equipped with that bonus, it's still 100 hostile plus and 100 holes plus.
And by the way, this isn't based on the level of hostile. Okay? This is not based on your level of hostile. This is the level of the building, guys. This is the level of your building, the number of
the level of hostile. It's the level, the level on top is the hostile you'd hit. But in order to hit that hostile, you have to spend X amount of dollars in theory, right? So it's like if you spend $0, then you're more likely hitting the level 49s. If you spend $100, then you're more comfortably hitting the level 59s, for instance. Like you can grind those more often. However, like how we were kind of, Putz was alluding to, and what I stated was that you could punch up, you just are going to die faster and harder.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do agree. I think it's for 61 plus is where it gets really difficult.
Right. And my punch up is not all that bad. I mean, yes, I can kill the 49s now because I'm at 25%. I'm actually at 30% protection. So that means I can go in and I can now get 4 per haul on the 59s, and I only need 37 kills to do on a ops 60 to do the hardest was only 37 kills. So it was 9 hauls. Took me less than 5 minutes.
So happy for you.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that this is the state that you could get to if you were not G6, but crossing into G6, it's such a chasm. It's the Grand Canyon in comparison to this one event.
Here are your milestones in this first category. So I'm not sure which one, if this is the middle value or the advanced value. And either way, Nowhere Man, that part doesn't necessarily really matter because they're heroics. Okay, it's a heroic event. It's literally designed exactly as Jules laid it out here. It's designed for you to spend money on the building. Okay, this does not matter as far as the heroic goes. Because, again, for those of you who are grinding the heroic, great. For those of you, you know what? Let me rephrase. Putz, the fact that you can grind your heroic probably means Echo messed up his math.
I agree.
If I'm being straight up honest with you, okay? The math is probably wrong.
I totally agree.
Because this event was not meant for a free-to-play to grind, period. And it's wild to me. This is why, Tarpy, I have such a problem with the word heroic. Because it doesn't even mean anything to players anymore. Like, now we see a heroic event, and we still expect it to be grindable. Like, what's the point? Scopely has this, and this is my opinion. The word heroic should be scrapped. We need to be able to think for ourselves and look and just decide if an event is worth it. I don't give a crap if we can or can't, or if we've got to spend this to do that or whatever. I want a good array of events, but I don't want to be, I'm tired of people trying to figure it out based on the name of the event. Those people who are complaining about trying to grind this event are missing the point. All right.
So DJs, while I still have a voice, I did want to kind of go back just a little bit and I guess talk about the value of the prototype Forbidden Tech Recon Locus building from a different perspective. This perspective being, the free-to-play realm philosophy, right? I don't look at it from if I acquire this today. I look at it from when I acquire this, or how long will it take me to acquire this, or when will I acquire it at different levels. So I've got a few different screenshots here because here's the thing with these prototype forbidden tech. So let's take a look at the chart. You already got it up. I'm going to manipulate it just a little bit while you're here. The max that you can get epic prototype forbidden tech to being in the G5 realm, so that's 51 through 60, is to level 30, tier 7 technically. So you can do a tier up. Okay, so that's going to take you roughly 460 days to earn the currency if you are at Recon Locus level 51 and Ops 51 realm, right? And you can only bring it up to, like I said, tier 7, level 30. In the circle, I've also posted 3 different screenshots of one of the PvP prototype forbidden techs that's locked at each one. If you can find the one that's locked at 51 to 60 to show the value of what this would be after getting the Recon Locus to this building level and getting, you know, all of the materials to upgrade it.
So this is the
So here you're
Counterplay
looking at
Device.
15.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the Explorer version of the prototype forbidden tech one. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to save your voice as best I can. Exactly that. This is the Explorer one, increasing apex barrier. And by the way, these are the stats that you get at the max level that you can go. All right, if you're max level, you can go up to 60. 15,000 apex barrier for explorers against players. That's actually not horrible. We've got officers that do more, but that's not a small number. Increasing apex shred against players by 25%. Also not a terrible number. We certainly have more and better sources of that. While on an explorer, decrease player shield mitigation every round cumulative 5%. Well, after 4 rounds, no, that's not right. Yeah. No. It would take 16 rounds.
The drive when maxed is 22%. When I say maxed, you know, obviously tier level 55, because they still haven't fixed the last 5 levels of Forbidden Tech.
Yeah.
But at Quantum Slipstream Drive at level 55, 22%. So that's the comparison, right? What is the other Forbidden Tech you would swap this out for? But that particular Forbidden Tech doesn't have Apex Barrier, doesn't have Shred. The Tantalus Field has up to 6,500 Apex Barrier. So theoretically, already this is better, right? In that specific realm. And I don't believe we don't have any Forbidden Tech that have Apex Shred. So if you look at it just purely from, hey, I'm G5, I've gotten this thing up, and I'm comparing it to my other suite of tools in here, what is the other Forbidden Tech I would play in this spot? And none of the other Forbidden Techs have all of these things. None of them have Apex Shred. None of them have Apex Barrier up to this. So this actually does have value. We can't really look at this prototype Forbidden Tech just looking at the max stats, which look amazing, but you know, oh, you can't get there if you're G5, so it's useless. Mm-hmm. It still is valuable. And what I would say is that if PvP is your main intent and you are progressing your ops while you're progressing your Recon Locus, like let's say you're just getting to 51 now and you're going to start progressing with this content as you are progressing forward with your ops, you're going to be continuing to gain those materials to continue to pump into one of these prototypes. So now we can look at what is the cost to get it, say, if you are now G6. So the highest you can go for G6 is level 45, but you can't tier it. So this would be a tier 9 level 45. And you'd have to be at least 61. So if we go back to our handy dandy chart, it's looking at like 594 days to earn the epic proto matter to bring it up to this point. And this is the second screenshot we see here. So, yep.
The only thing that it adds, the only thing that it adds as far as statistics at this point is it'll get you an extra 10% shield mitigation. So it goes from 5% now up to 15%. All right, so you're going to be up to 15% decreasing your opponent's shield mitigation. And now you will increase your isolated defense against players by 180%. Those are the two changes. Now, I agree with Jules when we look at the G5 version of this. Not having it compared to having it maxed for G5 is certainly a tangible difference. The argument, maybe, hopefully, that Jules is driving at, that I'm not misinterpreting, is that extra 500 and some days, that extra 10 levels, or, the extra generation, literally yields you extremely little gain. All right, and I think that is a failure. I think that is a failure to launch on this thing. You're right, not bad. Well, you say not bad for free, Mr. Chris, but and you're right. This one can technically be ground out. We haven't even started talking about that time frame yet, but it's also a long time. I mean, we're talking close to 2 years now to get this thing to this point, which brings up a whole different conversation. Will these abilities matter 2 years from now? Will they?
It's a great question. And I think that the point that I'm actually going to drive towards once we get to this last slide. So if we just go to the next final upgrade of this device. So you have to be not only operations 67 or above, but also have your Recon Locus level to 67 above. Then spend 2.5 years gaining materials to get these bonuses, which are, DJs, you want to say them out loud since we are in podcast?
Yeah, so now we start to see probably a little bit more of a tangible increase. We're going from 15,000 Apex Barrier to 40,000 Apex Barrier. We're increasing our shred from 25% up to 50%. We've increased our shield mitigation from 15% now to 25%. And we've got isolated defense on Explorers at 500%. Now, these today are tangible abilities. Today, these are tangible abilities. 40,000 Apex Barrier, 500% isolated defense. Listen, we talk about Joachim, what do you guys are calling him now? 25% shield mitigation, it's pretty significant. 3 rounds, their shields are all but gone. All right. 50% Apex Shred. Listen, these are good abilities. Now, here, today, right now. Will these abilities be worth anything in 2 years? Not only that, but this isn't on a device that if you did think that they were valuable now, this is not a device that you can spend $100 on and get. I mean, sure, you can spend $100 to unlock it, but I think we did the math on this. We're talking $600 or $700 to max it.
Oh, it's more than that.
More than that. Okay, my fault. Maybe that was based off the premium, like the 1-day pack. Cruzito says, technically, you're looking at $1,300 because you do have to include tiering the building to 67. Good point. You're right. I didn't even think about that. I was literally just looking at materials.
It's more than that. Right now, it's $1,000 to get to level 45.
$1,000 to get the counterplay device to level 45. Plus, if I'm not mistaken,
I can't even see epic materials in packs because I'm not at the right building level. So I don't even know how expensive it would be for the epic materials.
We also determined that the building itself would be approximately $400 to get to that to 66. It would need to go to 67. So, maybe a couple extra days. That being said, all right,
well, it's $1,000 to get it to 67. So now we're talking $1,000 to just get the building there, $1,000 or more dollars to get this thing up. You're talking about $2,500 right now to get a usable. But okay, we're getting beyond the point of saying, hey, why would we pay so much money for content that's going to be obsolete in, I don't know, who knows how many months. I think the big point that I am hopeful for, and I actually, to be honest, don't know of any future prototype for Tech, but I am hopeful that if I can get my building, and this is the reason why I invested $100 in was just to start pulling those rare protomatter and those rare tier of catalysts, because I hope that in some point in the future, a prototype forbidden tech that I actually want will become available and will be immediately upgradable because of the materials I'm starting to pull now.
So you spent $100 to get the building to 51 so that you can start pulling uncommon and rare protomatter and uncommon and rare catalysts. But you don't plan on investing them. You don't plan on investing them into the current PvP devices.
Or any of the prototype, even the one that we got for free at 51. I don't plan on that. And just so we're clear, we can't actually afford pulling all those chests, even single chests. So what I have done is I have prioritized pulling the rare protomatter and the rare tier of catalyst, and that's it. I am not even pulling uncommon at all because I'm just expecting that the prototype forbidden tech that I'm actually going to want some point in the future will be an epic grade. So I'm just ignoring the progression of any rare prototype forbidden tech because I just can't afford to pull those chests. And you're playing around right now with like taking the chest to no chest or one chest in our calculator on our forbidden tech spreadsheet. But it's just kind of proving that there's a lot that's built in the cost of the uncommon banners. And I believe that at some point in the future, we'll see some improvement. It's weird that we only have one chest for the hostile loot into banners. Maybe we'll see something in part 2 next month that kind of increases those banner income. But for right now, my strategy is continue pulling the building parts and starting to pull some of this rare protomatter and rare tube catalyst for a future prototype forbidden tech at some point.
Now, the question has been asked in chat, which I think is a brilliant question. Can you actually, like you have listed on your chart here that your total banner income for the day is 17,500, but that does not account for like your spend up here. If you make it equal 17,500 banners, that does not account for building materials. Is that correct? Is that right? I'd have to double check.
Yes. But if you actually, you'd have to go to a different spreadsheet because, we all love spreadsheets here. Over at the aggregation loop and Recon Locus spreadsheet, I'm going to post the link here in the Twitch chat, and I'll try to get it over in Discord here in a second too.
There we go.
So in the refinery tab, you'd have to scroll a little bit to the side, past the math barrier, with the black vertical line in the sheet. That's called the math barrier. Everything on the left of a math barrier is typically objective information, not subject to our opinions or our math. Everything on the right side is math-based, so it could be inaccurate or been messed with. So you can select the Recon Locus building that you're at. So for instance, I'm going to select 53 to 55, which is where I'm at now. I'm only earning common and uncommon banners. And then I can go into each of the bundles and say, oh, I want to do 2 chests of this or 1 chest of that, and try to get myself to a point where I am under the amount that I'm getting. So my daily income minus my cost is still a positive number. So right now I can't consistently do just the building and both the rare protomatter and rare tip catalyst. So I'm doing the.
Uh-oh, did I lose Jules? Did I lose Tarpy?
No.
Okay.
Check.
Oh, there he is. There, we got you back.
I'll be back in a second.
Okay, no problem. Coming into the chat, Archer, I don't want you to misinterpret my comments. I think I'm actually saying what you're saying, and I don't want you to think it the other way around. He says, DJ, you can sit here and try to justify how good the new stuff is, but with Scopely is making more and more players disengage from spending because of the ramp up of the money grab that they're doing. Dude, I think that's actually the point that I was making, and what I led up to with this is we've got to feel some value. We've got to feel important. Like I did admittedly say that some of those abilities would be good now, admittedly, but at a price tag of $2,500, hell no. $2,500? Now, Archer, let me ask you. This is actually a really good question. Let me ask you this. If that set of abilities. Let's go back and look at this set of abilities. All right, which would be maxing it out. Let's say this was I don't know, an artifact. Okay. Let's say you could get 15,000 Apex Barrier, 25% Apex Shred. I'm looking at the wrong screenshot. 25% shield mitigation and 500% isolated defense. And let's say that all of that costs $200. Would that be worth it? For a lot of people, the answer is still no. Okay. For a lot of people, the answer is still no. But I would imagine for spenders, the answer would actually probably be yes. All right. You're right, Archer. I'm agreeing with you 1,000%. The sheer cost of some of this new content is absolutely mind-boggling. For $100, I could see this being a great buy. For $2,500, that's wild. That's wild.
I think the hard part is that they're really wary of overly inflating power in this game, because that has been some of the players' main complaints over the past few months or years, whatever. But they still have a monetization model they have to follow. So if they can't provide the same value per dollar that we expect, like we want a net effect of blank for every $100 we spend, right? To me, a net effect of 10% is worth $100 on the things I care about. So if they want to provide that value, well, we're going to see a power creep, and they need to make, like, say, $500 per high spend customer. They have to be able to either do a power creep that's 50% every single time, which would lead to massively inflated players and this widening power gap that we do see anyways, or they have to provide something that isn't as potent but still try to charge the same amount of money. So I think that they're running into this weird balancing problem. How do they not support a massive power creep that we see in the game, but how do they also provide monetary value for folks and for the company?
Yeah. Well, it's a tough question, because I think a lot of players are looking at this the same way I am and just saying, yo, whoa. Whoa. All right. And there is already a huge power gap. And players like Cruzito are going to say, well, when it comes to PvP, the power gap's unavoidable. I mean, it's just there. Okay. So it is an interesting position that they find themselves in. But, if that was the concern, then I know what I'm going to say is crazy. If that was the concern, Jules, then let it be big. Let it cost a couple $100, but then let the upgrade time not be 1,500 days. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the upgrade time be 1,500 days. And that's wild. That's crazy. Let the upgrade time be 1 year. Let the upgrade time be 9 months. If you want to avoid that huge power gap, then close the power gap, but don't make it so expensive that players who did spend on it lose their premium access. Let's think on over. You guys are in the chat talking about the Vengeance. I think that's a great example. Vengeance, we know, cost 5 figures. $10,000, what some people are saying just for unlock. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Griffin has said it's a $40,000 ship to max. Well, that's insane, first of all. But it also tells us something. How soon can anybody, free to play or low spend, even come close to expecting to be able to unlock this ship without somebody who spent $40,000 on it being pretty upset? I mean, you can't do that in 3 months. You can't do that in 3 months. You can't do that in 6 months. $40,000? I am pretty much convinced that I will never own a Vengeance. I think that's a problem. There is no content that should ever, 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 ever cost that much money. Because you can never provide that value back to somebody else for no money. I mean, I don't know, Cruzito. You say supply and demand, but what is going to be the response? What is going to be the response from a player if I source that ship for free 6 months from now? What's going to be the response from a player who spent 40 grand if I can get it free in a couple of months just by waiting? Is that enough time for 40,000? It's enough time for $100, $200 maybe. Tens of thousands? That's a different question. Cruzito says they won't care. Oh, I beg to differ. We saw people losing their minds when Enterprises got cheaper. G3 Enterprises. Okay? All right. Skippy says this is going to be like the ISS Jellyfish. Well, that didn't cost $40,000. Okay? The ISS Jellyfish was not any more expensive than a current auction today. So that's a bit of a problem. But even then, you solve that problem by lowering the cost on the front and then narrowing the free to play acquisition. They've missed on both marks this month, and that's why I feel like this feature did not deliver. It's not that the tech had bad intent. It's not that they don't have good abilities. Actually, on the contrary, I think this is a good technology. Today, right here, right now. This is a good technology. Is it going to be a good technology 6 months from now? Or is it going to be a good technology in 1,000 days? Well, certainly not. This technology will have been replaced 3 times by the time that happens. I didn't hear you, Tarpy. Go ahead.
So, yeah, I think that means they confirmed that G9 is coming. Because if they're still planning on being here in 3 years for 1,000 days worth of content, that's like G9 or 10 by that point. And I feel like I need to quote Steven Zarin here that it is month 1. So obviously there's more stuff coming to.
I get it.
Maybe, hopefully not make that 3 years.
Oh, no, you're exactly right.
Like,
I still come back to why
and there'll be more things, so it will go back up to 3 years. Yeah.
Why make it look that way in the first place,
as
though?
they put out, so that you want to spend more money, right? So
Are players buying that these days? I mean, really, I feel like players are broadly, generally speaking, holding back. I think that's the problem that Scopely is running into, is that players are sick of the same old song and dance. Right? We keep saying, quit creating problems and selling solutions. How about you just give us content that feels good and rewarding to buy? You know? So I think that's a little bit of a problem. All right? Surge says spend 300 to make it 1 year instead of 3. No, I don't. That still feels a little heavy, but I mean, that's just me. All right. Let me put it this way. You guys know I spend money. I joke that I'm a free to play. I don't spend a lot of money. All right.
That's a joke.
I'm not truly free to play. I said at the beginning of this month, I did not see the value in me spending on the Recon Locus building. Now, Jules spent $100 and told you why. I still haven't. Now, Jules actually has better logic to it. He's saying, listen, I want to start earning Protomatter and Catalyst, but I'm still not going to spend it on any of the technologies that are here right now. I will hope that another technology comes that I'll have some materials banked up that I can instantly invest in. And honestly, that's probably a decent plan. I'm a more immediate gratification kind of fella. I don't see value. I'm not spending. I have not spent on this building. Probably not going to. So I think that's something they missed out on. And it's disappointing. I know it has to be disappointing for them. It's disappointing for me because I want content that feels good. You know what I'm saying? I want content that makes me excited. I want another junker. I want some mechanic like that. There's a gnat in here. It's driving me nuts.
So there was a comment yesterday, I think, in your Discord that they missed the mark on the building a little bit. They might have gotten a lot more people to buy it if instead of ship building speed, if they had a building component be ship tiering speed, especially in G6, that you use the same speed ups.
Yeah.
But like that would have gotten way more people to buy it if they, could have saved on ship tiering up. I'm not super worried about building ships. I'm way more worried about tiering them up.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a great idea. Benny Hill has a good question, and then Mimi's got a counter. Benny Hill says, look at something that came out 2 years ago. How much value does it still have? Well, that depends. That truly depends. Mimi says, what about fleet commanders? Okay, well, that's pretty significant. You're right. Fleet commanders are great. All right. But, something else that came out 2 years ago would have been War Room. Does that actually matter? 3 years ago, this level 29 building still in my base called the Subspace Relay. I can promise you that don't matter a hill of beans. Well, it's a little more today than it used to be. They did buff that a little bit. But, man, it used to be absolutely worthless. Worthless. You know a completely worthless building in this game? But it's a core part of your progression, and you have to. Your refinery. Refinery is one of
has max efficiency, though.
Sure does. 45%.
That's part.
45%.
Hey, every bit helps.
Nickels and dimes. All right, nickels and dimes. Generators, actually, once you get into G6, they give you a little bit of something. All right. Wait, is it the generators or no? It's the warehouse, isn't it? It's the warehouse and vault that gives it to you. Where is it?
It's the generators. It's the first two generators, A and B.
Yeah, there they are.
I mean, but even now, even those boosts are pretty diluted.
So listen, I'm not saying that nothing does, Benny Hill. Some stuff does, other stuff doesn't. Okay? I would expect, given their track record of damage mechanics and PvP mechanics, that these PvP abilities won't matter. That's just a prediction. All right, that's just straight up a prediction from me. PvP, they can't leave PvP alone. They keep messing with it. Yeah. If you had left Apex Shred out of the equation, then yeah, Barrier actually was well on its way to fixing PvP in this game. They just couldn't help themselves. Had to go back and mess it up. I'll maintain that until the day this game goes into maintenance mode. Shred was the third worst thing they've ever done to PvP. Actually, maybe second. Carol Freeman was first. And the number one thing that they've done to screw up this game were the Ptolemide Primes. Okay? It's just my opinion. That all being said, you look at these abilities, the time spent, and that's what we're talking about, the juice for the squeeze. A low spend has no incentive to spend on this thing. Okay? A high spend will have to spend $2,500 on it to make it valuable today. Is it $2,500 valuable? Probably not. And low spend and or free to play have absolutely no reason to engage, because by the time we can make it even teeny tiny little bit useful, it won't be useful. All right. So that is where I think they've missed the mark on this thing. The time is way, way off. They're going to have to really, really mess it up. And again, I go back to the vengeance explanation. Tarpy, you're right. It's only month one. Let's say they fix this next month, selling a prime or something like that. What about? Like, can you do that quickly if somebody did spend $2,500 on this? You remember how red I got that I spent $100 on that G5 parts prime, and next month they did the Dolomites? Do you remember that?
Dolomites.
And that was $100, man. And 30 days later, they invalidated my purchase. Imagine if I spent $1,000 or $2,000. Holy smokes. But that's the lesson some players are learning. That's the lesson some players have already learned. And that is why there are players in the chat right now that says, I just can't trust to spend anymore. Now, I did see this unfair comment. Which was them nerfing the cube before G7. First of all, the cube did not get nerfed.
They're nerfing the cube.
The cube did not get nerfed. Here's what
thoughts.
Here's what they did, and I'm gonna tell you what they did, and why it's not the worst thing they could have done. They should have done something different, but it is what they did. Is they offered research to vengeance owners that makes the cube more susceptible to the avocado. They literally just reduced the cube's PvP effectiveness only against a vengeance. Here's why I'm going to tell you, I don't believe that is technically a nerf. It's no different than a mantis sting. Okay? It's no different than a mantis sting or some other similar type of mechanic. But guys, I'm just going to say there's no way that the cube should have been beating the vengeance. Not for what it cost. All right. Now, you can say that the cube was OP. You can say that the cube is broken. You can say that the vengeance was poorly designed. You can say that the vengeance sucks, whatever the case may be. But I'm here to tell you, you spend $20,000 on a ship and it's still losing to the cube. Yeah, they got a problem. Okay. So what they've done is they've released a research. And by the way, it's still not free. But they've released a research to vengeance owners to improve the vengeance performance against the cube by debuffing the cube. All right? It's fine.
It's not free?
It's half free.
Half of it's free.
It's half free. Okay? All right? So it is. I understand why people are wanting to call it a nerf. It's not. And I understand that people are saying, well, that devalues my cube. No, it doesn't. All right. The avocado came long after you guys spent what you were going to spend on the cube. The cube is still the leading premier ship in almost anything PvE and most things PvP in this game. They literally just tried to make the vengeance not suck as bad. All right. And so you've got that. Okay, Archer is correcting me. I might have misunderstood. Archer says they did give the research to the people who have already owned the vengeance. All right, if that's fair.
Didn't they give one of two?
Yeah,
so
that's
they put two new
researchers
researchers in the game, and they said they were going to give enough for one. That's what I remember anyway.
Yeah, so they did give half. 2 researches, and the gift had enough for 1 of them. Now, Cruzito points out, and I agree, by the way. Cruzito says the vengeance was PvE and always has been. Let's be honest. Folks were silly and didn't read. Well, that's not how Scopely built it. All right. They've been bragging about the PvP capabilities of the ship since it came out. But I agree with you, Cruzito. That many of us legacy players recognize the vengeance for exactly what it was. ISS Jellyfish 2.0. Okay? ISS Jellyfish 2.0. So, yeah, I think that it's definitely going to be a PvE ship. And it is. It's performing decently well in PvP, so I hear. But the cube is just better. All right? It's just better. So that's what they did. And in fairness, as grumpy as I am with them, I'm not going to say that they nerfed the cube. All right? That what they did was not inappropriate. It's actually probably necessary, given the fact that they think this thing is supposed to be killing everything in the game. So, I mean, they even released a PvP article about it, Cruzito. I know what you're saying about the shipability, but I mean, Scopely's not been quiet about the PvP capabilities, allegedly, of this ship. All right.
Was it enough, or the cube's still killing it? Or has it time to check yet?
Oh, it's not going to be enough. I mean, it will help. It will help, but I still don't think the firing pattern on the Vengeance is weak. But they also increased the number of below deck slots that the Vengeance can have earlier, and I think that will have a significant impact as well. So time will tell whether it's enough to completely balance the field, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. And I understand that people feel like the cube shouldn't have been nerfed, but it wasn't. It was just debuffed and only in PvP combat against the Vengeance, which honestly they had to do, Tarpy. they had to. They really had to. Okay, it's just bad. It's just not good. Burton says, let's be fair, DJ. The firing pattern on the Vengeance isn't weak. It's better than any ship in the game, except for the cube, which is true. That's true. Check says the correct thing to say is that the Vengeance was buffed in PvP. And I agree. I would refer to it as a Vengeance ability that debuffs a Borg cube opponent. You see what I'm saying? Like, honestly, that's exactly how I look at it. I look at it as a combat debuff, which is, by the way, very legitimate. All right? It's very legitimate. So, Shelby says, I was beating cubes before this, and now it will live up to billing because a cube now won't have a chance. Well, that's what Karkin was asking. I think, do you think it's enough, Shelby, to completely just invalidate the cube, or is it going to actually bring balance? Can crew and research still determine it? Shelby says, yeah, the cube's done now. Cube versus Vengeance is over. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Because you know how I feel about that, too. I don't like that. No strategy. There's no strategy anymore.
The debuff is only crit chance and crit damage, right? In what amount? You still have to deal with crit floor. So now you just need to push crit chance and you're back in the game?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Shelby says it's not going to make a difference. Shelby's pretty good crewing too, but it's definitely worth looking into a little bit. All right, it's actually worth looking at. Blaze said it's plus 300% isolytic damage versus a cube. Shelby says, I shan't reveal my secrets. Well, that's possible. That's correct, Camel. The changes were only cube versus Vengeance in PvP. So that's why I say it's not fair to say that they nerfed the cube. That is not correct. They buffed the Vengeance by providing it with an ability that will debuff a cube opponent. Okay. Webster says, when was their strategy? Back in G3. Back in G3, you were. All right. So,
DJs, your panel has also prepared a secondary topic for conversation. I don't know if you wanted to spend about 30 minutes on that, or
Hell
you
yeah,
or take a break now, and then we can go into that.
You know what? You're right, Jules. We should take a break. Let's do that. Let's take a very quick break. When we come back, what is the teaser, Tarpy? What are we going into? Ooh, it's Reliant based, isn't it?
Probably. I was going to say it sounds pretty reliable.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, I like it. We've got a little bit of content for you for those of you just now unlocking your Reliant, and we're going to give you a quick refresher on the Cons Champion loop and some crew. And I may or may not.
Oh, jeez.
I may or may not indicate that a refresher on non-target specific crewing is never a bad thing. I would definitely not hint at potential future content that would be reckless. We're just going to talk about Cons Champions. And we'll do that on the other side of this break. My name is UltimatDJz. This is Talking Trek. Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast will return right after this short break. And word from our sponsor. I had to. I don't actually have the sponsor loaded, so can we just, give me a second while I'm stalling?
Hi, I'm Billy from accounting. Wait, that's not the ad we want. You don't have the lawyer guy anymore, so I can't do that one.
I don't have Buddy anymore.
Do you want me to do the news?
No, I got it.
That's the only one I've ever practiced. News.
All right, we'll be right back. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Now what? I didn't press that button. I didn't press this button. Okay, and take two. Commanders, in the vast universe of Star Trek Fleet Command, understanding the rules of engagement is crucial. At PvPtarget.com, our comprehensive guide ensures you navigate battles with honor. Learn the importance of protected cargo and why attacking a ship under its limit is deemed by some as an act of war. Discover which vessels are classified as warships and what ranges of ships you can attack. Find tips on crewing, mining, and the battle triangle, and so much more. Equip yourself with knowledge to engage responsibly. Visit PvPtarget.com and become the commander your alliance deserves.
Yo. Drop that beat from Deep Space Nine. Whiskers twitching, claws in line. From Ops 1 to 70, he's got the stat. Make way, y'all. It's the STFC cat. Scratching on consoles, sitting on the deck, spinning star maps with a paw on your tech. He ain't no pet, he's a feline force, giving bass, cracking tips like it's his course. Chilling in Studio B, laser eyes glowing, fleet chat exploding, and DJs knowing he's the furball of war and the king of the grind. All the captains whisper, this cat's got mine. He's ultimate DJ, pause on command.
Welcome back.
With the master plan, from left the tokens, he's got the
Check. I love that one. Where did that come from? I love that. Over in the live studio audience, Tarpy, over in the Twitch chat.
And that's where that came from.
Yeah,
that is great.
We've got a brand new emote. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if we unlocked it with a hype train, but there's a brand new emote called Bop Bop. Capital B-O-P, capital B-O-P, no space. It is so cute. I love it. It is a little hallucinogenic gummy bear. All right, I love it. I love it. It's one of my favorite.
Oh my
new ones.
gosh.
It is. It's great. Check says, I don't know where I got it from. Yeah, I've got it too. I have no idea where it came from. It's just bop bop, and yeah, you got to do capital B, Rico. So, capital B in the front and capital B in the middle too. Capital B-O-P. All right, you do that, and you get a little.
It's not everybody.
A little. Well, then that means it's been earned somewhere. All right, it's been earned somewhere. I think it was rewarded as a result of a hype train at some point. It may not be. Okay, Victor says it was unlocked during DJ Week on Twitch. That would have been August 8th. So you're saying that I earned it from a DJ channel? That would make sense. If I earned it from somebody else's channel, I don't know, but it's a very cute little thing. If you guys are watching the video playback, then it's over on the screen over here. You see this little hallucinogenic dancing gummy bear, and it's amazing, and I love it. For those of you in podcast, you're just gonna have to picture a dancing gummy bear that is as hallucinogenic as Karkin wishes he was right now. All right.
It's floating.
Yeah, look at it. I could just stare at it for 7 hours. Yeah, you had to watch 15 minutes of a DJ stream
A lava lamp and
during
midnight is
808.
set.
Got it. We had to watch 15 minutes of a DJ stream during the week of August 8th. All right, well, there you go. That's what it is. Voltron, I don't know. I don't think it was a hype train thing. I think, as Captain Taylor said, it was an exclusive release to celebrate 808, which is Twitch's celebration of DJs on their new DJ platform. So there you go. If you've got the bear, then you've enjoyed some DJ music channels here on Twitch, and we appreciate that. I have a story to tell you, Tarpy. All right, it just take a second.
I thought you meant they gave you your own week, DJ's week. I was like,
that'd be
really
great.
disappointed when you finished explaining what that was.
Explaining.
So,
I love it.
okay, but a second for you is like 6 hours.
No. This will
So,
be really
like-
quick. I'm just, you know what? Maybe I'm just telling this story just to kind of like put feelers out there. I'll tell you what the answer is that I gave. All right. Mrs. Boss offered me those same Virginia Tech tickets again this coming weekend. Now, I turned them down because
How many more coaches can they fire?
I turned it down because I feel like I've got to come back and do a Studio B. Wolfwood has been giving me you would not believe the amount of grief that he is giving me. And Shelby, relax. I turned it down because I'm feeling obligated. Okay. What? No. That's not the right word. Okay. Hold on. Bad choice of words. I feel like I owe you guys a show on Studio B. Now, Saison, it's okay. We had a great time this past weekend. I told him it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I would never expect to be able to do that again. And then she turned around and offered me the exact same tickets this coming weekend, 2 weeks in a row. And I thought, man, that is so kind. That is so great. I would love that. But I have not done a Studio B since August 23rd. All right? I feel bad. I feel bad, Burton. No, see, I don't want to feel that way. Look, Wolfwood says I've gone easy on you. You've literally let that channel gone to hell. You know, I know. People pay for that channel. People pay for the Patreon, for the content from that channel, and I haven't done a show since August 23rd. I'm an asshole. All right?
Yep. Someone clip that.
Oh,
Someone clip
God bless it. No. Damn.
Yes.
We
need that.
Damn.
DJ, tell us the real reason why you're not taking the tickets. That's because they hired you as their head coach, right?
No.
You're going to be down on the field.
I would be as effective as the last guy they had. All right. No, are you guys actually Wolfwood, I want you to look at chat. I want you to look at chat right now, Wolfwood, and I want you to tell me. I'm looking at you right now. Wolfwood, your chat will be forever immortalized on this screen right here. You see chat. Now, tell me if I should take the tickets. I'm going to let Wolfwood decide, Tarpy. Wolfwood gets final say. He's the one. He's the one that has been giving me so much grief about Studio B. Madrox has been very, very kind about it, but even he says, dude, you kind of need to get back to work. Right? That's what he says. You kind of need to get back to work.
Okay. I have an economics question for you.
Okay.
How many teenage boys did you take to that buffet on Saturday?
3.
How much money did that save you in food?
A lot. Yeah, it was a lot. It was pretty good. I mean, yeah, Sherlock Holmes says, listen, DJs, Wofford is going to be the last team that they might be able to beat this year. Maybe. All right. Now, listen, like I said, I'm going to give Wolfwood the final say. He has not. Yes, Wolfwood. No, I'm not putting you in charge of the channel. I'll get back up. All right. I'm not putting you in charge of the channel. But I am going to let you decide. Do I do a Studio B this Saturday night? Or do I go back to Blacksburg for 2 weeks in a row of luxury college football experience? And for the record, I may not even be able to get them because I told her today, thank you, but I'm going to pass. So she may have given them to somebody else already. I already said that I've got obligations this weekend. Q Dog says time with family versus a music stream. You know, when you put it that way, Q Dog, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying when you put it that way, but I still feel a sense of community and family with you guys as well. And some of you pay money for that. Some of you are paying money for Studio B. I feel bad that I haven't produced content for you. All right. Wolfwood says, you haven't done it in a month. Are you serious about your DJ channel? Wolfwood, I play Chubby Bunny on my DJ channel. What do you mean, am I serious about it? Am I ever going to be as big as Pika or Jesu or what's her name? Knee Beats? No. I will never be that. Ever. All right? I'm not nearly sexy enough. Okay? Shit! Gobbler's like, damn! Maybe I should just close the channel altogether. Gobbler's like, DJ, your music is good, but it ain't that good. Damn! Ouch! And then Gobbler said, hold my beer. Holy shit!
I mean, Baldom's got a good one.
Dang. Balabom says, we pay money to Scopely. When was the last time we got content from them? Bam! All right. All right, thank you. Mimi says, look on the bright side, DJs. Nobody's invested 40 grand into your Studio B channel. You got to wait till someone pays 40 grand and then shut it down. You're right. Yeah, I got you. All right, yeah. Yeah, no, I genuinely. Wait, oh, my God, and they keep coming. When Jay says, wait, you have a DJ channel? Yeah, no, see, now, you know what? I agree with you, Victor. I take people's money. I have an obligation to perform or refund. See, I agree with that. That's why I was going to do a show this weekend. All right, it's been since August 23rd. I at least have to do one show a month, Tarpy, for people to not feel like they got completely taken by the monthly subscription that they pay for that channel. Right?
Okay, so I have an interesting question.
All right, what's your question?
If the tickets are still available, could you get a hotel in Blacksburg on Saturday night and do your Studio B from the hotel?
No. No. What? No, I'm not hauling all that crap to Blacksburg. What? No.
You called it crap.
It's a lot of stuff.
That's how you feel about your DJ channel. It's crap.
No, it's a pain in the butt studio. That's right, Wolfwood. See, if I'm going to take the money, I owe a show. I agree. That's why I was going to do it. How about take the tickets and stream after the game? It's a night game, and it's 2.5 hours from my house. I wouldn't get home, and I'd have to spend the night.
Hence, bring it with you. Bring the mini version like you did to Florida.
That's not the mini version. That was so much gear.
Oh my God, you're being tarpish now.
I'm not being tarpish.
You're being tarpish.
Wolfwood. Now, to be clear, you guys say if I take the money, I owe a show. I have no way of refunding a Twitch sub. Like, they don't give me that power. I can't do that. All right. I can't. Yeah, we're sidetracked, Wiggle. I'm getting ready to get back to it. This was not supposed to be this, Tarpy. I was supposed to just tell you the story. Jiminy Christmas. I didn't mean
I said, 6 hours.
I'm not. It's only Virginia Tech. I don't really care. All right. Do the show early Sunday. No, I've got a podcast on Sunday. Who wants to listen to a DJ show at like noon on Sunday?
What are we going to podcast?
Europeans.
No, like what topic are we going to podcast?
I don't know. Cruzito, actually, I would have loved. I tried to do an IRL stream from the stadium. It's too. You remember what happened? Where were we when we couldn't get a stream out? Anyway, no, it's not going to work. Too many people. Yeah. It happened at San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, just no chance. Not going to happen. I could barely post to Discord. It was so bad. I could barely even post those videos to Discord. So yeah, there's no chance for a live from Blacksburg. Not going to happen. Do a DJ stream tomorrow night. See, I can't check. Tomorrow night's high school football night. Noah plays football tomorrow night. See, I can't do that either.
All night? Like literally all night?
I mean, I won't get home until 11.
Okay, it's a DJ stream on a Friday. If you're not going to Blacksburg, you don't have to drive the next day.
You want me to do 11p to 5a?
I did. Yeah.
To 5a?
Why do you have to go 6 hours?
Because they pay
you can't
for
last
it.
That long?
They pay for it.
Just drink some Ghost. You'll be fine.
Okay.
You knew I was going to get revenge for that comment earlier, right?
Oh, okay. I could do it tomorrow night. Vic says $20 if those tickets are already gone. This is a moot point. Yeah, you might be right.
But that's like,
Yeah, she just said that you don't have to drive to Blacksburg the next day. If you don't have to drive there the next day, why don't you just do it on Saturday? Like,
Well, if the tickets are not available, then I'll just do the normal show. But if tickets are available, then I guess I could try tomorrow night.
so
you
so
go
here's
till
the other
5
thing.
a.m. before having to go to the game.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. The game's a night game. All right, now you guys are making me think. I don't want to think anymore. Listen, we've got 25 minutes left on the show. I'm missing arenas.
Thinking hard.
Wait, when am I missing
No, that's
arenas?
tomorrow.
Oh,
Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's Friday now.
what a bummer. That's unfortunate.
Because of your input.
I'm
I
really,
am.
really disappointed that I'll miss arenas. Man, what great, exciting content that I love to play in every single week.
Shucky darns.
Shucky darn. Blaze says, I think you would be a bigger asshole for turning them down and then going, hey, actually, I'll take those if you still got them. Maybe. I don't know. Now you guys see, I thought I made the right decision. All right. Wham Wham says, if you cut your STFC streams to 45 minutes, which has been proven effective to attract more people, you would have plenty of time to DJ. First of all, not my style. Second of all, there's no way those numbers are real. He said that how many ended up being? I heard two different numbers. I heard 1 million, and then I heard 190,000. Neither of which can be real. That's literally more players than play the game. 150,000 unique. See, now that's the third number that I've been told. That's
probably more accurate. That last number is probably the most accurate.
150,000 unique. That's insane.
This was broadcasted on many podcast platforms and then also advertised beyond the Star Trek Fleet Command community through different, either, I don't know if it's like direct ad placement or just influencer posts. So it had a wider reach earlier on and probably got a lot of unique listeners who maybe have never played the game.
So wait, where was it advertised outside of STFC?
I'm not on any social media, so I can't even answer that basic question.
Just out of curiosity.
I feel like that
just out of curiosity, I'm very curious. Why would anybody outside of STFC listen to it?
Because their influencer told them to. I don't know.
Okay.
Because it's flashy with graphics and loud noises.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. I mean, that's a hell of a number. That's insane. I mean, seriously, that is literally more than 50% of all active accounts. Not even daily actives, but anybody with an account that's logged in the last 30 days. Like, that's an insane number. That's crazy awesome.
Do you mind if we get back to your content?
No, I'm focused on other content that either I don't perform myself or have nothing to do with. All right, I want to continue talking. No, I want to continue talking about STFC briefs and or Studio B that I don't actually do anymore.
Oh, you said it. Okay. Moving on to the Reliant.
Right. The Reliant. Okay. Let's talk about the Reliant. At this point, I'm gonna be quiet. That's right, Vic. 127% of stats are made up on the spot. I agree with that. Funny. I actually have heard like 3 different numbers now for that show, but all of them are crazy high, which is stupidly impressive. You know what? Again, Jules, congratulations, man. Congratulations. You and your partner have turned out ridiculous numbers. I mean, seriously, like that's more than me. It's more than Rev. That's more than all of us put together. Like, take all of the content creators and add them all together, and we don't hit 150,000. That is insane. Super good for you, man.
I appreciate that. And it is, let's just be clear, it is Nigel's show. I was a guest on his show. He does have planned content with other people. So I wouldn't say that it is part of my show. I do want to make sure that he gets all the credit for doing that. Begging, not he'd been asking me to be on his show and help provide that early perspective. And I'm glad I was able to do that in a different format that is already out there. You have a very particular style and format, and Rev has a very particular style and format slot in that. So there is a good broad range of information that's available to players, and I'm glad that's it.
I actually am too. And I enjoyed it. I listened to it. I thought it was great. It's very concise. Definitely not what we do around here. Anyway, now that we're down to 20 minutes left in the show. Hey, I've got another story for. I'm kidding. All right, Reliant.
No.
I know Reliant. Reliant was released free to play. Actually, I think we just hit like 9 or 10 days. Is that right, Putz? It was released. The 100-day mark was last Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So 9 days ago.
Yeah, we are somewhere between 10 and maybe 5 days, depending on, if you missed a couple of pulls.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 9 to 10 days, the Reliant's been out there. Players are just now starting to grind through that loop. And Putz in particular, and Tarpey, I know, prepared a segment on this. There was a couple of things that we wanted to circle back on and talk about with regards to the Reliant. A real quick summary of how to get through it, where to start, but also some of the side loops that are available. Really, honestly, Wrath of Khan, despite its grindy nature for some people who didn't like it, is one of the most brilliantly designed loops that has ever come into the game. Not only do you have no time gates on the reputation and the ability to earn that loop, but then you've also got the ability to earn a full epic officer, completely maxed, also completely grindable and free to play with no time gates. And I'm sure that if you ask players that have already unlocked him or already maxed him about the efficacy or the effectiveness of Joachim, all right, or however we're pronouncing his name right now, he is a significantly powerful officer. And without, again, being completely reckless, all right, I would indicate to you that that officer is going to be even more valuable than he is today, potentially in the future. Okay? So it is a perfectly appropriate topic and a perfectly appropriate thing for us to talk about and prioritize tonight, Putz. How do we play the Reliant loop? How do I max Joachim, and what are all the points in between?
If you guys don't mind me helping you drive just a little bit.
Absolutely.
Did you want to start, Putz? So I think what would be helpful is in the circle right around like 10:15.
Yep.
I posted the link for this, and I'll also post this in the Twitch chat and on the Discord, on the Discord.
I got you, buddy.
If you start in the hostiles tab, you'll see basically how these hostiles work. Putz, you wanted to kind of describe like an early strategy for players, what they should be focused on as far as hostiles are concerned.
And actually, if you don't care, before you start, Putz, I just want to let you know I've got this up on the screen. All right, I have to run to the little kiddies room, so I'll be back in like 2 minutes. But you guys just keep talking. But if you need me to change the screen, just know that I won't. Okay. All right, you guys take it away.
So, day one, unlock the ship. You're gonna, get it to level 5 and put on a crew. The crew is really kind of depending on what you're trying to do with it out of the box day one. Are you looking to be longevity, or are you looking to maximize your cargo loot? It just really depends on what you're trying to do. But the whole goal of out of the box day one is not necessarily hitting your ops level hostile. Okay. It may be to do one of the lower levels and have it sit there and auto grind from now until, tomorrow morning, collecting loot chests. the loot that you're getting from the loot chest for killing the chasers is significantly higher than the loot that you get for hitting just the hostiles that are in the system, especially on the cons champion start loop, the what you would call the directives, if you will, to start those. Excuse me. Depending on your research and whatnot, just me for example, out of the box, tier 1, level 5, I was able to go to the level 40 system and with a loot crew, sit there, and at about the exact same time I would die, I also filled my cargo. I was within like 600K of filling the cargo about every time when I died. And that was about a 15-minute grind or auto grind, repair, rinse, repeat. And that's what I've been doing the last 10 days. Out of that, you should expect to get, I would say, if you do 100 to 300 chests, you should get a start, at least one cons champion start per day.
Right. Cons champion does start at 60 million reputation. So particularly for players who are just entirely, they may not actually care about those those starts right now. Look, still staring at this hostile chart. Thanks, DJ Sweet. One thing that I will point out is pretty early on, particularly for, I would say, G5 players, probably G4, you're actually going to have enough combat ability. And there's some crewing tips I can give you in a little bit to hit up to the 42s. In this way, you'll start earning some of the uncommon splicers while still earning a vast amount of common splicers. And I think it's a good barrier to get to. So for me, I think the target systems haven't been the top of the grade, but they've been the start of the next grade. Now, I will say that the hostiles do make quite a jump in combat ability. So a 42 is, 5 times harder than a 40, for instance. So it's going to be a little bit more of a jump. Now, you will just be camping the ship. So depending on your server dynamics, protected cargo may be the way to go if you've got a lot of hunters. You may want to punch up so your ship dies more often, but also doesn't leave so much loot on the table for someone else to steal. Or if you have a more protective server, then just leaving it in a lower system where it can survive for overnight and just max its cargo essentially with these splicers is also a different strategy to go to. DJs, are you back? You back yet? Sweet's taking a long time. I think he's got a problem. Should probably get that checked out.
Yeah.
Think.
Yeah. So when he does get back, we're gonna show. I got screenshots of crews for you guys. We've talked about protected cargo crew. We've talked about using a loot crew. Now, this does have a loot bonus inherent in the ship ability, which starts off at 100%. That is, basically having a free 5 of 11 on the bridge. So still, by putting more loot officers on your bridge is still going to help you progress through that loop faster. But in the end, for me, that because this is an auto grinding loop, it's just about how much more time or how much, how can I arrange when my ship actually goes out there or doesn't go out. Crewing for low tier reliance, there is a special crew that I wanted to pop up, and now that he's back, I hope. Is this the Wesley Crusher crew? This may take everybody by surprise. Wesley Crusher is generally useless, except his captain's ability is actually increasing damage by 100% of crew attack. Now, why would that be useful on a Reliant? Putz, you got an answer for that one?
Well, I am not 100% sure, but I'm going to take a stab and say that the stats of the ship that we're hitting are relatively still within the stats that you can stack up even with 1 or 2 below deck slots.
Yes, and so one of the things is the Reliant DDR. Remember, this is an Ops 26 ship. when you're first building this is crude to be, you know, a little bit better than the pay flour. So you're not going to have a huge DPR. So the natural DPR is very, very low. However, as developed players, even unlocking a couple, we're looking here at a tier 2 plant with a couple of upgrades on it. Now, I am an op 70, so don't look at the strength level, but we have a lot more officer stat bonuses aimed at. So just by providing a officer that boosts, that basically adds damage. Remember how, like, you know, we were seeing Rialtas kill.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The Rialta.
Exactly.
Yeah. This reminds me of, you know, the Rialta where basically just stack a whole bunch of defense below because you were running whatever officer or something. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how this works. And we can dive in a little bit closer. I'll try to go fast. Screenshots down, DJs. You'll see a victory shot and then a couple of screen battle log. So this is a screenshot of us taking a Reliant against a level 52 D7, which means I can immediately, with a tier 2, only a couple upgrades, be able to grind and actually get rare splicers, uncommon splicers, and common splicers. Now, again, this is an Op 70 account, so this will be relevant to players who are getting the ship free to play now. So I would not expect players with the equivalent ship and upgrades to hit the same level hostile, but it goes to show what can happen. So if you can show the next 2 battle logs, there's a defeat battle log in here. Sorry, Alpaca, am I choppy?
Yeah, you're jumping in and out there a little bit. I don't know, maybe just a quick reconnect will solve that. But what you're looking at here, while he does that, this defeat log does still show a tremendous amount of isolated damage output. It shows obviously 100% crits and a significant amount of isolated damage. Now, the reason that we like to talk about Wesley Crusher is simply that his maneuver, or his captain's maneuver, is to increase damage by the amount of attack. All right. So you take a look
if you compare the standard damage here, you're seeing about 1,000,000, 1,000,003. Now, if you take a look at the next screenshot, the next battle log.
There we go. You're up to 1.9 billion.
Well, no, just look at the standard damage alone. So we're about, 25 times as much damage, or, about 25 times as much damage. So that's a huge difference, and you can't get that type of level of, net output. Now, of course, that's magnified by the isolated damage ship ability that we have from that.
There are a few officers who will do that effect as Wesley.
Yeah, I am taken all the way back to Disco, and I'm trying to remember that officer's name. He's a rare officer, one that I'm maxed out.
Tyler.
Tyler. Ash Tyler does a very similar thing with increased damage based on attack stat.
Roe has one that's a little bit bigger than what Wesley can provide, but it's chance based. It's only 60%.
So I think that the benefit of this crew is that you're more than likely killing the ship in one round, and therefore not taking a lot of damage.
Yes, and I think we proved way back when, or maybe even recently, that Wesley, this crew, if you don't kill it by the 3rd round, then you should have gone with Ash Tyler, because Ash Tyler builds up each round.
Yeah, so you got a break-even point there with the immediate benefit of Wesley as compared to Ash Tyler. So, yeah, good early tier crew there.
One of the benefits is that this crew, Wesley, Jean-Luc Picard, Beverly, you're usually not using those officers. Particularly setting this on an auto grinder and then still being able to do other things with your intended crews is really useful.
Which is exactly how I play it. I have a crew. Actually, I think that Jules and Matters turned me on to very, very early. And I'll actually pull that up on screen. The crew that I've actually got it saved in a crew preset, what I use for auto grinding, and it looks like I'm going to tweak that a little bit, would be a Chang version. This is the crew which I run now on my Reliant Auto Grinder, which is Chang in the captain's chair, Harrison on one side, Khan on the other for some of that extra build. And then, of course, I've got a slew of underdeck slots. My Reliant is tiered higher. So, and actually,
Made a mistake.
Yeah,
mistake on here.
Big mistake here.
Breach.
Yeah, no. Well, yes, because I'm also usually using Balana on my normal grinders. As you said, I'm trying to find a crew set that I don't care to be without. However,
right, but Chang is useless without hull breach. The whole point of Chang, and this is another crew setup. So I actually do have a screenshot up. Another
maybe
crew
he's got the CT on there, maybe, or the maybe he's got the hull breach one, and that's good.
Yeah, I don't. But yeah, that would be a good call. that would be a good call. This is the screenshot, and again, for those in the podcast audience, we're sharing these in the graphics room. Jules, tell us a little bit about this second for higher tiered Reliance that you like to see players moving towards.
So what this is ultimate survivability. You have a very high apex barrier, again, from the ship ability, which allows you to survive a lot of shots. However, the only way to extend that is by actually reducing the number of shots you get. So Chang is an officer that actually delays or basically removes shots from the firing pattern of the hostile based on how many times your weapon fires against it when it has hull breach. So it is a chance base, but he can stack, and he can stack quite a bit. Now, the Reliant has lots of weapons that fire every single round. So Chang has lots of opportunities to proc. Balana Torres will always keep hull breach up. So having those two on your ship at all times is a way of basically reducing the damage you take by 40, 50, even 60%. Throughout the length of that battle, making battles last a lot longer. So this is a combination where you can say, hey, I'm going to put Chang in there, but I'm also going to put Ash, Tyler, and Burning, and that therefore I'm going to not only last a while and reduce the amount of damage I'm taking because I'm reducing the shots, but also burning it down. Now, I use Strange New Worlds Pike with Strange New Worlds Spock. However, other players use Janeway and Doc for the same purpose. Put more of that damage to shields. You can do that, then you're taking less hull damage, which means you can last as an auto grinder for longer. What I would say is, based on my testing earlier today, the Wesley crew actually works better than any other crew that I've tested, up to about tier 9. And right around tier 9, tier 10, the Chang crew tends to do a little bit better. And this is if you are hitting the hostile levels kind of near where your natural cap would be for that ship.
Now, to point out in a little bit of defense, I'm not wasting that slot, as I had kind of mentioned just a moment ago. I do have the temporal conduit, Chaos Tech, on that ship. And I have that maxed out, all right, which is certainly not necessarily, I don't want to say easy to do, but you've had time to get there, even as a free-to-play. You've had time to get that temporal conduit to a position where it's going to do very, very well. And its early ability, its first ability, is when fighting hostiles or armadas at the start of each round, you've got an 85% chance to apply hull breach for 2 rounds. So that is why I have opted to run with the crew that I was running with here. And that, again, does provide me a potential opportunity. I've got a 15% chance of missing that out on that very first one, but that gives me that opportunity to make Chang somewhat effective there without the use of Balana if I'm going to use her on other ships during the same time. So there is still that chance there, Jules. I'm not a complete imbecile, but I am definitely not at a 100%. So Rico, do keep in mind the Chaos Text can be. All right, so that you can take that one all the way to 60. I'm not an imbecile.
Did you just say that you're... Did you just say that you're 15% imbecile? Is that what we need to take from that?
Yeah, I'm only 15% imbecile. All right, not 100%.
Okay.
Let's go back to the spreadsheet. I wanted to talk really quickly just about the upgrade path and timetable for a few seconds. The Reliant tab on your Augment faction spreadsheet here. What we're looking at on this Reliant tab is the rough timetable it's going to take. Now, here's the deal. You're actually grade locked. You are not ops locked on every single tier. So you can get to a naked tier 4 as a G3 player. You can get to a naked tier 9 as a G4 player, and that continues on. If you start your Reliant as a G6 player, you will progress the ship faster than if you start as a G3 player and progress as you're going up with your op. It is the way of them to accelerate that growth without having to have overinflated packs, I think was their big thing. So that's how the upgrade path works. I just want to point out the tier up gifts, which is the next thing down. This is amazing and very little known, but every single time you go up in, let's say, a grade, you get a full unlock of an epic officer. This will come through these choice tokens that you're going to get when you tier up, the tier up gifts themselves, and then you can spend them either on a few different officers or you can spend them all on one officer. The first 3 being Pike, 511, Boar Queen, and then moving up to down to the G6 world, which is our more recent officers, our higher value officers. So I think that there's a great value there that you get basically 4 full unlocks of officers just from tiering the ship up. Now let's talk really briefly about the bundles that you'll get from here. So if you click over to the Augment Store tab, at the top of that tab is everything we need to know about the basic stuff. So the hijack splicers. But if we scroll down just a little bit, you'll see the Reliant Mega Claim. And there's some other things that come with the Reliant as well. The Mega Claim is going to give you the parts that you need. It's going to give you a little extra Titanium and Sigma Titanium if you're a G6 player. And additionally, some Wrath choice tokens, which will give you a massive amount of officer shards in a different bundle. Now, here's the thing about this Reliant Mega Claim. I did tell you that if you're a G3 player, you can take it to a naked tier 4. However, the bundle that you'll see is not just locked to the tier of the ship, but also the ops. So let's say you're an ops 26 player and you have a tier 4 Reliant, you're only going to see that first level of bundle. I think this is a smart way of not making you grind beyond your capabilities of your ops, but also still trying to provide a modicum of having ops locks at decent sizes and not trying to like overly lock these ships. That's a way that they've done that. Scrolling down, when you get the Reliant, you'll also get some Wrath credits in that Reliant claim. You'll also get the Reliant Priority 1 Mega Claim. Now, this is going to give you additional planetary charts to start more Priority 1 ATAs. Going to give you some speed ups and refresh tokens. And then you also have more Forbidden Tech, which does have a limit on the fusion rods. Now we talk about the side loop. Was there any questions before I move on? I'm trying to get through in a 20-minute timetable. Doesn't seem like there's any questions. So I feel like we can move down to the side loop, which is essentially the Cons Champions loop. Now this starts at 60 million reputations. So if you have not already ground that out, or if you're just entering this loop now, you'll have to get to 60 million first and gather a bunch of the champion trophies that come in the loot chest of the hostiles. Now there's 5 levels of Cons Champions. You can claim any one of these 5 at any time. However, to maximize your ability here, is to look at what you can actually hit. I have a general recommended player level of the Cadet. That's the first level of champion. That's for G3 players. The second level, G4, captain, G5, the level 4, generally G6. Now, I'm not talking about having a G6 ship. I am talking about just being in G6 and having a high level account. Potentially even a G5 epic can take those down. In fact, I was able to do it with a Sanctus as a G6, and having a developed account as G6, I was able to take it down with Sanctus. So the Nightmare Hostile, which is the last one, currently, even with a tier 14 Crenshaw, I can't take down that hostile without boosts. But we can take it down with boosts, and there is some crewing that's going to help you maximize your ability to hit those things. And so we can talk a little bit about crewing vests. I know there's been a few questions in the chat about what the crew is needed for a level 70 auto grind. And the answer is, I don't know. I've seen several people attempt to hit 70s and just see that the 68s were providing them more income and benefit per hit than the 70s were. So that's where I don't know what that is, because I haven't actually seen a crew or a battle log or saying, hey, look, I can hit 50 70s on a hole, and it's definitely worthwhile. I've seen people hit the 70s and defeat them, but not with a ton of hole left over to make it worthwhile to sit there. So that's why I don't know what crew is best. If there is a high tier player who has a maxed Reliant, I would love to see what kind of crews they're going to be using against level 70s. But for what I see is we have seen people mainly stick to the 68s. So let's chat crew for the Cons champion. Here's the big thing about the Cons champion. They're mission bosses. They are not hostiles. They're not armadas. They're not invading entities. They're not player targets. They are general, just nondescript targets. In fact, you can even, if you see anything that has against opponent, they're just opponents. They're not anything that's descriptive. So things like, Borg Hugh or Belana Torres or Janeway, none of those officers are going to work. Those traditionally hostile grinding officers are going to work against these mission bosses. So I've developed a couple of crews that I'm going to show off today. DJs, this is back in the circle. I've got a couple of screenshots. The basic crew or crew for a less developed account would be 5 of 11, Lorca, and Khan. 5 of 11 giving you mitigation, Lorca giving you hull breach, Khan giving you critical chance. There is some forbidden tech and chaos tech that will help boost that critical chance against any opponent. Big one being the quantum slipstream drive. But I still believe that criticals, particularly in this battle, are going to be a big deal. So increasing your critical chance with officers is also very useful. Under decks, I have included some of the lower deck and some of the ones that also work against all. So Strange New Words Pelia can also work on isolating defense. The thing you may notice that I put Dazok down here, there is a couple of artifacts that increase your isolate damage and your isolate defense when any state is applied. If you have a low-tiered Lorca and you're not getting a lot of hull breach, you're not getting consistent hull breach procs, having a secondary officer that may be able to give a status effect may work. And Dazok actually works against all opponents. He is not specific to hostiles or players. This is a basic crew. This works really, really well. If you wanted to put this in one of your crew presets and then hit a level of hostile that's easier for you, say you're a G6 player, you can't hit the nightmares or you need a lot of boost to hit the nightmares, well, it's not economical for you to hit 10 to 20 of them to try to continue to get that hijacked insignia. You may want to hit the warlords using a smaller crew like this or a basic crew like this. Now for an advanced crew, and I say advanced because it also kind of requires a few boosts. I have Martok on here. Now Martok, Bael, and Gowron all have a higher level of mitigation against any opponent than 5 of 11 does. What that can do is actually they will actually increase your mitigation more than 5 of 11 does. And even though 5 of 11's captain ability doesn't work, and some of these other officers will, they're generally useless. So this is just a better 5 of 11 if you have these officers maxed, and you can also increase your officer stats below deck. This can actually be really effective in gaining more mitigation. as you can see here, I don't have Khan on either side. In fact, I've got Lorca and I've got Kirk giving me 2 different status effects, who Kirk giving me potentially more critical damage and Lorca give me the hull breach. So this shows me that I need to add crit chance somewhere. That can either come from a Forbidden Tech or that can come from boosts like the Cerritos and the Max Fortify. I use both of those when using this advanced crew and hitting the Nightmare hostiles. And then also below decks, I've included some of the newer officers. So again, this is kind of more advanced crew, but also just showing some options that these are the newer officers that kind of replace the lower decks and extend past their caps of what their other abilities would be. And then the last officer on this lower deck slot is Wrath of Khan Joachim. Why Joachim? If you look at his card, he has conditions on there that would not make it look like he's going to work against these targets. However, those conditions were never programmed in the game. So while they put the text there, Joachim works against all targets.
All
So-
targets.
All targets, all non-player, non-hostile, doesn't matter what kind of target it is. So Joachim is a very good officer. And in fact, the whole loop of these Khan's champions is all about gaining hijacked insignia that can be spent on research, or that can be spent on unlocking the Khan fleet commander, or can be spent on his skill points, or of course can be spent on sourcing Joachim himself and the upgrades for Joachim getting more shards to fully max him out. In fact, we actually saw in the Discord chat not too long ago, Scalyback reached level 60 million rep and 4 days ago and already has a tier 4 Joachim. So that shows the power of this loop. These things only have a 1 minute cooldown in between starting, so you can grind these champions out all in one night, and you can get a lot of this hijack insignia really quickly. So I would recommend popping a couple of damage exos, getting your boost set up, and going out there and hitting several of these higher levels, and then maybe punching down to kind of finish them out with another level down.
Question on that.
Yes, go for
Yeah,
it.
question on the 1 minute cooldown. Does that start from the time that you kill the hostile, or is that from the time you collected, you started the mission?
You claim the bundle. Claiming the bundle will give you a mission token. Then when you back out of the store, then the mission starts. But it's when you actually click the bundle itself is when that timer starts. There was lots of bugs related with claiming that and then accidentally claiming it again. So the only way to fix that was a customer service ticket, and I don't think they could figure out why the tech wasn't working. So adding a 1 minute cooldown was in a way of making sure you don't accidentally get that bug again.
So am I right in saying that you could start one, right, and leave the hostile there for over a minute, and then kill it and be able to start one immediately after and not have to wait the minute to start the next one?
In fact, I usually don't. What I'll do is I will start the bundle and then go ahead and kill, because all of the time to click inside the faction store, click out the faction store, click all the mission waypoints, collect the mission, kill the thing, and then go back into the augment store, you've already spent 40 seconds. So you're basically not losing much time. You may lose 15 or 20 seconds. If you're trying to maximize how many you can do on one boost, then yes, I would do it exactly how you were doing. Claim the bundle, wait a minute, then get all your boosts in order, get that ship ready to go, kill that first hostile really quickly, get back into the faction store, claim the next bundle so you can kill the next hostile before, say, Lorca's Fist runs out of time.
Exactly. That's where I was going was Lorca's Fist has a minute and some change on it. So but it only has an 8-hour cooldown. So I normally, if I'm built up on my starts, I will do 2 with Lorca's Fist and some boosts, and then 8 hours later, or later on in the day or whatever, do another 2, and just kind of meter them out like that. Because for me, I need I think I figured out that I don't need max fortify. I can just do it with a fortify and Cerritos, but I need Lorca's Fist, but I can do the level 4s.
Yeah, yep. The two Forbidden Tech, Chaos Tech combinations you can use. The Quantum Slipstream drive gives you the shield mitigation reduction against opponents. That's really useful. But also gives you some crit chance, which is really useful. And then the Godsend. The Godsend, it also has a damage boost against hostiles. However, that one also does not have a condition. Seems like there was a trend during this arc. So that one, it has a damage boost, but it actually works against all targets. It's a smaller damage boost. I think at max it's about 1600%. But it's still useful, particularly when you're fighting a target that does not have a lot of buffs in the game against it. There's not a lot of general damage buffs in the game currently. So being able to put these two Forbidden Tech, Chaos Tech combination on your ship can maybe help you punch up just that little bit that you need. I would remember these mission crews, potentially save them as one of your crew presets. Just a little hint. That kind of wraps up our early Reliant. I know that there's a lot of deeper dives, a lot of value added places we can look at, where to spend the insignia. That's probably a longer segment, longer podcast, and things we've already done in the past. So I do want to allow this segment to kind of naturally end where, we kind of entered into the Reliant loop and give a bunch of advice. Is there anything else you wanted to add, DJs, before we wrap up that segment?
No, I think that's actually a really, really good entry point. This is what you're going to be looking at as you begin this loop. And as you mentioned, there's a lot of researches that will use these reward insignias, as well as that is the currency that is required to tier these officers as well. The Wrath of Khan officers are the reward insignias in some cases. So it's definitely a couple of different places to use them. There's also officer efficiencies, and the one of the better researches down there to support the priority 1 ATAs is Khan's Favor, which is a research that increases the number of what are those things called? Not the planetary tokens, but the research particles for that. So definitely a lot of ways that you can spend those insignias. And as a matter of fact, that is still a piece of the loop that I am still working on. I have the reputation maxed. I've got Khan or Joachim maxed. And so I am still working on these reward insignias. And Jules, at this point for me, I'm kind of balancing them against Khan upgrade skill points and some of the other researches that are in there. So there is still lots of places to use those. And that's why I say it's a great design loop. It wasn't, even if you spend a ton of time grinding this thing, there is still a lot of life in that loop with the reward or the insignias, the hijacked insignias, as well as, the champion trophies. So it is still a loop that a lot of players are still going through, including myself, even though it looks like the reputation is maxed and we might be nearing the end of that loop. There's still a lot to do there with the reward insignias. And as it relates to the priority 1 ATAs. So, yeah, very, very good loop and very, very rewarding. That's one thing that players have mentioned about this loop is in comparison to other grindy loops that we've seen through Transigen and so forth. And even now with, the Serene Squall stuff, or not the Transigen stuff, but what we've got going on this month, just a lot of grind that doesn't necessarily feel really super worth it, but Wrath of Khan definitely was, and there's some great stuff there. All right. Shiz says, DJs, remember how we were talking about how new players need officers? How much do the bundles with Wrath of Khan cover that? It's actually really, really remarkable. Kind of touching base back into that when we were talking about the recruit bundles here, when we were talking about all the different choice tokens and the officer tokens that can be accomplished with, and I'm losing my slide. Here we go. The Reliant Mega Claim, where you get these Wrath choice tokens, and then even then we were talking about the I don't remember what slide it was on, Jules, that we were talking about the officers that can be maxed. Which tab was that? Oh, here it is. The Reliant Tira. You know, you've got Pike, 5 of 11, the Borg Queen, Cisco, Tendi Freeman in the uncommon realm. G5, you got Pike, Doctor, and E. Picard. And then for G6 players, you got Walk Carroll, Walk Scott, and Tora. You are able to secure an entire unlock of these officers, but it doesn't stop there because you also are able to earn these Wrath Choice tokens. All right. And the Wrath Choice tokens can then be used in the faction store for any of those officers that you want, just on a slightly smaller scale. So you're going to take that Reliant Mega Claim. You're going to claim that every single day. That's going to give you some of these Wrath Choice tokens. On top of that, there are other places to spend your Wrath credits. For example, and Matters has really corrected me on this and told me how badly I was doing with it, which is to at least maybe spend your smaller bundle here, even in the common recruit. I may not need these officers here in the common recruit, but the reason that I would pull that is for additional Wrath Choice tokens. All right. And those Wrath Choice tokens can then be redeemed lower in your Augment faction store for another set of officers, a very similar set, almost the exact same set of officers, including Anorax, DeMarco, Borg Hugh, and Suter, Christopher Pike, 5 of 11, Cisco Tendi, Freeman, and
those ones are not in the Wrath Choice tokens. You've got Anorex and DeMarco. You've got Borg Hugh, Janeway.
Where are the Wrath?
Suter.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Sorry.
Taurus, Neelix, and Harry Kim. Those are the 8 officers that are available. You don't see all of them because you already have a lot of those maxed. But this is a wonderful place to get B'Elanna Torres, Neelix, and Kim, the big 3 status officer, below deck officers. This is a great place to get the max because you can get a lot of those Wrath Choice tokens through your recruit bundles, through the Reliant claims, and get those things done quickly. And correct, there is no limits. You can, as long as you have the Wrath Choice tokens, you can continue to pull those until you've got those officers maxed. In fact, I maxed Suter just from this Wrath Choice token alone. I believe that was the major source for me, and I'm able to work on either DeMarco or Anorax and get one of those 2 max next. So it's a great use of that space. Plus, even just through the recruit bundles, even though there is a chance there's a very large pool, you're still getting like 60 to 70 to 80 officers every 2 days. So it's a huge amount of just officer shard in introduction to the game through this entire loop. The Wrath Choice tokens being extra benefited through the Reliant.
Absolutely. So again, a very, very rewarding loop, and certainly one that provided a ton of officer catch up there. So thank you, Shiz, for pointing that out. That is another very, very high value area of this loop. Not to mention, then, it was also the game's first sourcing of the Quantum Slipstream in a free-to-play fashion. That is not something that I have invested a ton in just yet because I'm still working on some of the favors down below. But that is also the free-to-play sourcing of the Quantum Slipstream. And if I'm not mistaken, there was one other one in there as well that I think Oh, the Glavin, which was huge. The Glavin was in here. And
Tantalus Field.
Yeah, the Tantalus Field is in there as well. So those also did not have free-to-play sourcing before. Again, those are missing from my store because I've got those. But, the Glavin, I actually did. I sourced the Glavin through here to get it unlocked and then was able to use the Temporal Disruptors to get it maxed out. And the Glavin provides 50% isolytic boost, which is not small. That's a great source, and it's always on. It's for on any ship, So the Glavin definitely a good thing to have.
Dry Dock G was also huge for free to play.
Yes, yeah, Dry Dock G was in here as well. So yeah, big things, and that's why players looked at this to be really, really good. Like players looked at this and said, okay, grindy, sure, but very, very worth it. Lots and lots of great rewards that came in this faction store.
DJ, there's one thing I wanted to say about going back to the advanced crew that Jules was talking about with Martok or Galron or that officer set. I think it's Kittimer's Revenge. there is no efficiencies for that officer group, and those officers are, they are in, I think, the ultras, but they still are back in the days of bad sourcing. So if you don't have it maxed, and here's where I'm going to channel my inner matters here. I know this is going to hurt. God. Okay. I am promoting the second, version 2.0 of the faction recruits. I don't remember the
No. What?
If you don't have, I'm serious. If you don't have those rare officers maxed, that is an additional way to
Elite
get
recruit token.
elite recruit tokens, and it can be the difference between reliably killing your level 3 versus being able to kill a level 4, or a level 2 versus a level 3. And
That might be how
it
to
actually
unlock
matters.
them. Like
Yeah,
if you don't
or
have them unlocked, even.
Yeah. But like the difference between tier 3 and tier 5, I mean it's not even just tier 3 to tier 4. I got my first one to tier 4 like last week, and now I'm able to like reduce my boosts that I put on it, and I'm able to get it down to regular fortify instead of max fortify, which means that it's sustainable.
Shiz points out in the chat as well that the elite recruits do have a prime that will assist you with your acquisition of these tokens that is also sourced free to play through the NSEA loop. All right. Coming into the Mirror Universe loop, you can come down here to the primes that are available. And again, that is by working the Mirror Universe and using those Omega particles to come down here and actually pull the elite recruit prime particle that you can source free to play with a little bit of grind. So that helps them there as well. So making it full loop and full circle on some of the sourcing here, which again really kind of drives home the whole idea of Wrath of Khan being a very, very worth it loop. And being something that you definitely want to be able to engage in. As players have unlocked their Reliant, this is what you can look forward to with your free-to-play Reliant and the Wrath of Khan's loop. All right. Great recap. Thank you, Putz. Thank you, Jules, for that. And hopefully you guys get some benefit out of those crews. We'll come to the chat for final questions before we get ready to end the show. Is there anything that we might be able to answer for you while we've got our panel of experts here to answer questions regarding Wrath of Khan or anything else in our last and final moments? Check says, does anybody know if you have 2 Reliants, if you get 2 Mega Claim bundles? No. It'll stick to the higher tier that you've unlocked. You'll only get the 1. Okay. But it will continue with the highest tier that you've unlocked. So having a second Reliant can help with your auto grind, but it's not, and therefore your acquisition of the Champions trophies, but it's not going to increase or give you an additional bundle. Okay.
I'm glad you brought up the second Reliant, because a lot of players who purchase the Reliant but then also continue to claim those blueprints. The nice thing about having the Reliant require different grade materials as it progresses means that you can upgrade a secondary Reliant using materials you don't need anymore. So a lot of the common parts can be used to take your second Reliant all the way up to tier 4 right away and make it an effective second grinder for you to continue building up those champion trophies.
I am working on a second Reliant, but I've missed a few redeems, so I'm still, 11, let's see, 22 shards, so I'm still 11 days away from unlocking my second Reliant, so I guess that means I've missed about 20 refines, Putz? Is that about right? I guess in the last 100 days, I've missed 20 days worth, so... whoops.
Yeah.
But I'm getting there, and I'm going to do it, and it's worth doing once you get that thing tiered up. Because again, the Reliant is not terribly painful to upgrade. I mean, mine is I could probably have mine truthfully to about tier 9, probably tier 10. by now if I hadn't missed any redeems. Mine's currently tier 8, but I think I've got enough to get very close to taking it to tier 9. But it is a tier 18 ship. All right, so I've still got some ways to go on it, but definitely a good ship for you to have, and a great auto grinder out there with lots of rewards. All right.
And there's an event.
What?
No, there's an event today for spending on ship parts.
Oh, good.
So
yeah,
today
with
would be
the Ascendance event. Yeah, which I will do. Night Diver says, DJ, can you or anyone explain in the series Deep Space Nine how the Defiant docks into the station from the front? Where's the airlock on the ship? Holy cow. That is not.
That's mean at this late at night.
Yeah, that's all right. That is not a me question. Sure about that. But there you go. What's that?
It's in the tip. Just the tip.
My God, Jules!
It's just right there. Look, you can see it's right on your screen. It just plugs in there with the 2 dongles. All right, you've got 2 dongles that'll just plug into the front there. So.
Well, you see, the male end goes into the female end, and then you get what's known as suction.
Oh,
and
you're asking
air
about the
seals up in there.
Defiant. They're asking about the Defiant.
I mean, the
All right.
Defiant does kind of look like a little small USB drive, from the front.
Yeah, yeah.
Space
So,
anteater.
there you go. See, it just the tip just slides right in there, and then it penetrates over from the side. It's like a side dock.
And you're still recording this, right?
No, absolutely not.
Robin Wolf, to answer your
No.
question, G5 Dragonfire warp drive for your second Monavine theoretically would come in an event store. However, event store availability has been shifting around. I do believe that with some other ships that have those same type of tier locks that have never made it into an event store, by contacting customer service and proving that it's not in an event store, they have granted those in the past. I don't know if that's for all ships. I just know that there's some other ships that have the similar tier locks that are not available in event stores. But I'm pretty sure the Monavine second tier lock is available in event stores.
Forgotten Sec asks a great question, Jules. Will the next arc be better or more smash face against table? Okay, I'm going to go back to what Lost In said a little bit ago. I have not personally been dissatisfied this arc. I feel like the rewards are underwhelming, but I also am pleased at the level of simplicity that I have had to engage in. I look at today's events. I've got a Battle Pass event, dual Battle Pass events, if I'm looking at the Ferengi Battle Pass as well. As far as my regular events, I'm going to go out. I'm going to kill 15 aggregation hostiles, and I'm done. Like that, literally, that's it for me for the day. I'm going to come in. I'm going to do my dailies. I'm going to do
Is that why
my
our
daily
alliance leaderboard
minis.
is still low?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
didn't finish your stuff?
No, I'm not doing the heroics. What's wrong with you? All right. I recognize the heroics for what they are. Now, Brett says this has been such a dead month. Last month was better. Here's my take on that. I like having a smaller chore list. Okay. To be perfectly honest with you, and I know that this is not everybody. Okay. But I have been doing my aggregation event, the small one, and then I'm actually going and playing the loops that I need to catch up on. All right, really truthfully, that is where I have actually found enjoyment this month, is going and playing Elite Waves. The other night, for the first time, I fully completed a G6 Elite Wave. I was very happy about that, So all these...
Your Elite Waves are working?
They were the other night. They were the other night. I haven't tried to play any since the mid-month patch. But Skippy says, don't take this personal, but you haven't been engaging in the game much in the past couple of months. I don't know that I would agree with that. All right. I don't think I've stepped away. I've definitely played less than I have in the past. I don't necessarily disagree with that. But I have enjoyed the fact that I've got this event to do, but then that allows me to go and do other loops. I'm still working. As a matter of fact, I've still been grinding Wrath of Khan. I've been still grinding Wrath of Khan very much. All right. I really, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I really need to get back into the mirror universe. All right. I mean, I really, really do. Mimi says, DJs, you've missed at least 20 days out of the last 100. First of all, that's not necessarily accurate. That just means I've missed my refines. That doesn't necessarily mean that I've not logged in at all for that day. I've actually done really, really good with my battle pass and stuff. But sometimes my refines are late at night and sometimes the next day. But I will also say, and this is something I kind of teased at the beginning of the show. I said this probably a year and a half or so ago, Tarpy, where I have always maintained, I've always defended this one thing when it came to game design at Scopely, which was it's hard to play a game that is also your work. I've actually said that in the past a lot, and I've shown empathy for the fact that it may be difficult for designers to play the game for fun after they've worked on it for 8 hours in a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's not necessarily a huge stretch. Do people need to understand how the game works? Obviously, absolutely. But, you know, imagine most of us, what we do for a retail trade or what we do for our professional lives, then coming home and doing that again for more, you know, for more time electively. That's a challenge. Over the last 2 years, I have become a lot more involved with Scopely as a business. All right. Meetings, planning, consults. I do this a lot more than what you guys see a lot of times. And so it is sometimes challenging for me to then come and grind for hours in the game after I've spent all day talking about it. All right. I don't want it to seem like I've stepped back. I probably don't play. I consider myself, Tarpy, almost representing a little bit more of a casual perspective in the game. It's not that I want to min-max. We definitely do min-max. Jules and Tarpy and Matters, they come and they talk about how we min-max the thing, right? I have played less in the game. I acknowledge that. I've definitely not stepped back from the community, and I've not stepped back from Fleet Command. I just don't play it as much because my responsibilities and roles on the back end have increased substantially. You know, the other day, during my work day, I was with Scopely for 3 hours the other day. You know, so that takes time, you know, and then of course my kids are in sports right now, so that takes some of my evenings and so forth. And Short says that in the game is challenging as of late, in a better choice of words. That's true. So I don't want it to seem like I have. Am I the perfect engagement player? No, I'm not. All right. I think that allows me to bring a different perspective, and it allows me to demonstrate fallacies or mistakes in strategy in the game. But I'm also working a lot more behind the scenes, which brings me to my last topic of the day. And I intentionally waited till the very, very end because I know she's probably not still listening, is the fact that Beck is back. Now, people said, wait, Beck left or Beck was not doing this or not doing that. Beck is very, very much back in full view of the community. As a lot of you guys can attest, she's been very active on officials. She's been very active in VIP Discord. And by the way, if anybody is being mean to our Beck, play nice. All right, play nice. Beck has been working on a project which will be revealed in short order, but I'm very, very excited. I've actually been working with her on some pieces of that, and so I'm very much looking forward to you guys getting to see some of that stuff. But as you guys know, a long time ago, this is probably, gosh, I don't remember, but close to a year ago, she moved out of community management and more into the marketing side, and that's where she's been very effective in some big projects that are working directly with Paramount and doing some things with the IP itself, which I think is very, very cool. But here in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, she has kind of wrapped on a couple of those projects and come back into community a little bit. And it's been good to see her. You guys have even made comments. My Alliance had a screenshot not long ago. Actually, it was right at the beginning of the arc, if I'm not mistaken, when Hammy did his video. This was funny. When Hammy did his video, my Alliance didn't like it. All right, my Alliance didn't like it. As a matter of fact, they changed our Alliance tag to "Where is Beck?" This was on Arcfall because, you know, Hammy's so goofy with these videos. But nonetheless, she has stepped back into the community role here a little bit, and she's been a force of nature. So Cruzito says we don't need more marketing, we need better design and stable content. Well, okay, let me ask you, Cruzito, does Beck do game design or engineering? No. All right, that's not what she does. That's not her education set. And any company,
However,
is going to have marketing.
Even in her role as marketing, she is still taking community feedback, advice from us, content creators, and bringing that back to game design. So I will say that she's not only doing the marketing job, but she is also still advocating for the players and the player problems.
Oh, for sure.
Which is huge. She doesn't have to. She's marketing now. But that's so important to her and important to the marketing role itself, that she's willing to go the extra mile to do that. So I think it's huge.
Not only that, all right, and you're absolutely right about that, but not only that, is as she is, I don't even want to say like migrating back into community, but as this other project kind of wrapped up and she's now found herself with more time to be involved in community, as you guys have seen, she's been much more present in the Discords, including ours, but also the VIP server and official Discord as well. But there are some significant things, some very significant things that are going to continue to roll out here even as early as 2 weeks from now. I saw a message that just goes to kind of reinforce the fact that she is a force to be reckoned with inside Scopely. And so if there are folks that are giving her a hard time, all right, and I don't believe that that's actually happening, but if it is, you need to understand that Scopely is massive. They're not going to necessarily do everything that we ask and or demand, but one of your best advocates that you have ever had, whether you know it or not, is Madam Plancident. And there are a few things that the community has been really, really pushing for over several months, if not years, that are going to be addressed here very, very soon because, you know, not because Scopely has never listened to it, but because she literally willed it into existence. All right. And I'm very, very excited about being able to reveal some of that stuff to you here over the next several days and couple of weeks. But there are some big, big things that are going to be coming, and I think you guys are going to be pleased with that. And I fully intend on giving her the credit. All right. When that comes out, because I witnessed it firsthand today, where a couple of these items were signed off on and given a final approval based on her pitch. So I'm very, very excited about that and looking forward to it. But I just want to come back and say, recognize the advocates that you have. You know, I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to praise Sierra Uniform as well. another great advocate. Hearts of Space, great advocate. Okay, really truthfully, and you guys, sometimes it's easy. I have seen it personally myself. Sometimes it's easy to blame the public-facing personnel, but a lot of times those are the ones who work the hardest for you. All right, I can say that I can relate to that, just given all the drama that was surrounding PAC, Captain Taylor, here just a couple of weeks ago. Over the last month or so, there's been a lot of drama there. And I bore the brunt of that because I was the messenger, right? AFOX says we always shoot the messenger. Yeah, be cautious with that, because the ones who are most often engaging with you are most often the ones that are truly representing you. All right, so they are. She has done some amazing work here, and actually, very truthfully, I'm very excited to have her back dedicated and focused on community, because she is a force. And you're right. I mean, sometimes we deserve it. Lost End. PAC did veto the Mantis comp. You can blame PAC for that. Hashtag blame PAC. All right.
So can I add?
Yeah, please.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
So this also goes for the mods in official, as well as any Scopely people that you interact with. Just because they're being paid to interact with the public does not mean that they should be abused because they're interacting with the public, or that they should be treated poorly for interacting with the public. Just because it is their job, because they work for Scopely, does not mean that they deserve abuse or harsh words or any sort of rude treatment, because at the end of the day, they're still people, and they are doing a job, and they are being paid for the work that they do. But at no point does that give us as a customer the right to be rude to them.
As someone who works in retail, I second that motion.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's
So
right.
it's just like, don't be that keyboard warrior. Like, you can be displeased with the game, but don't take it out on Scopely employees.
Yeah.
At the same time. And you can also, if we ever get a conversation with the devs, you can give them respectful dislike of the product they put out, because you can say, I don't like the game as it is, and I think that's fair, but being rude to the public facing employees is just never okay.
It's a challenging thing. You know, I tend to roll with the punches. It doesn't necessarily really super bother me when people get frustrated, because I know at the end of the day, they don't give a rat's butt about me personally. It is about the state of the game. And I think that actions speak louder than words. And you guys just called me out for my actions over the last couple of months. I have played less. Scopely knows that. And Scopely knows why. And I've been very, very honest about that. They've got to do better. I've been critical. I'll still remain professional, and I'll remain open to having productive conversations with them, but I've been very critical. They have not had a stellar year, you know, and I think people like Connor know that. So I think that's what's driven him to the level of communication. And as I mentioned, I have seen a few murmurings in Discord where, you know, well, Connor said this and promised that, and we don't see much better right now. And, you know, I do see motion towards improving things. And I do think that the sub 45 experience this month has been unique. I still think it's short of the mark, but I think that they are working towards trying to develop a new experience, and I want that to continue to develop. So, you know, it's totally fair to be unhappy. Absolutely. I would tend to classify myself in that category. I'm unhappy with the product right now. But I do see some of the steps that are being taken behind the scenes. I see what Connor's implementing, and I think that it will eventually, ultimately have a good outcome. But again, it takes the whole team. It takes the whole village. And Scopely, as a team, has just got to do better. They have to. Attention to detail. Even, listen, you guys know I love Echo like a brother. I really do. I talk to him personally more than I talk to him about the game. But I do think he's missed the mark on a few things this month. And I'm happy to tell him that. But at the same time, he is a friend. And I'm close with him, and I'll respect him personally and you know, speak to him with love. But I've told him more than once, I feel like he's missed the mark a little bit with some of these heroics, right? But we'll continue to work on that feedback. We'll continue to deliver that for you and continue to advocate for what you guys are looking for and what you guys want. And hopefully we can develop that into something that that is going to be satisfactory. And not even satisfactory. I want it to develop into something that gets the game back to being fun. You know, right now I'm having more fun with the guys over at Spock's Club, and more fun with the community mod guys and NetNiv, and more fun with the content creation community than I am playing the game. Hence why I've missed 20 days out of 100 as far as full engagement. I'm doing more of those types of things. I know, listen, Jules, I would hazard a guess that Jules has spent a great deal of time preparing charts and doing math and testing things in the lab, and probably is not 100% on any and all events that pop out to him, because we have those other areas of this community that we enjoy. So
I bet he is, though.
I
would put 50-50 that he has still got it down.
You think $50 he's 100% perfect? Jules?
No, 50-50, like a 50% chance margin that he's got it on lockdown, I bet.
I'm going to bet not.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing any of the heroics.
Yeah, no way. I'm not doing it. I ain't doing it. All right. So, yeah, there's that. All right, guys. Any other questions? Anything else that we can do for you guys very quickly? We've run over on time, so I'm going to get ready to bounce out of here. But I will look and entertain your questions here very quickly as we get ready to wrap up the show tonight. Loston says, I'm doing it all. You're doing the heroics too? Good for you. Shiz said he ground out the heroic. You're a better man than me. All right.
Or just lower ops in Shiz's case.
Yeah. Cruzito says, I am sure that it is moving slowly to the better side, but in fairness, they've been asking us to be patient for a very long time, and I can agree with that. Let me tell you, here's my only leak for the night. I've seen something very interesting next month. I have no idea how it's going to implement. Honestly, it's pretty ambitious. It's pretty ambitious, but I'm intrigued.
Is that a good thing?
I'm intrigued by the gameplay. So we'll continue to see. We'll continue to see how that. Vic says, not falling for that. No, listen, I'm skeptical. Okay, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm skeptical. All right, I've seen it. It's a cool idea, but I'm skeptical. All right. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see how it plays out. It's a cool idea, but I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna play. So we'll have to see. But at least I'll say this with that comment. At least they've got a couple of cool ideas still up their sleeve. All right. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't know if the tech is gonna hold up, but that's right, Cezanne. A cool idea is better than copy pasta, and I agree with that. I like the idea. I hope it doesn't crash and burn. Oh my goodness gracious. That's gonna do it. I've said too much. All right, that's it. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for hanging out with us here tonight. My name is UltimatDJz. On behalf of all of us here at Talking Track, Tarpy, Punt, Jules, Matters, and the entire rest of the gang. Karkin as well. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to Talking Trek, both in the live studio audience on YouTube, Twitch, and in podcast, but also on podcast playback, whether it's on iTunes, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, and all the rest. We appreciate you consuming our content wherever you are. My name is UltimatDJz, your friendly neighborhood cat person. Sam, meow for now. Love you, minute. We'll catch you on the next one. Good night, everybody.